the latest Onyx Path double feature. They came from the Cyclops' cave, and they came from Classified.
New from Onyx Path Publishing. They came from the Cyclops' cave. Experience fantasy, epic, and magical. Recreate the covers of other beloved role-playing games. But play this one. Use magical effects to disappear. Revel. Gallop and explode. Have you ever turned a tree into a man? Have you ever tied someone to a pillar while barbecuing a hand?
No, please stop. That's vile.
Play as fairies, giants, warriors, and wizards. But don't sleep through the action and the drama. Visit distant lands. Brush tiny people. Chart your own odyssey to faraway kingdoms. Grip your weapons like they've never been gripped before. They came from the Cyclops' cave, a game of cinematic fantasy inspired by all your favorite movies of fantasy cinema. New from Onyx Path Publishing, it's stylish. Booyah! Oh, you wait till I get up, I'm gonna give you such a hiding, oh smacko! It's mysterious. I say, this button wasn't here yesterday when I looked. What happens if I push it? Oh, luckily the bookcase only went and moved. I wonder what happens if I push a little further. What might I find behind? Oh my, it's cheeky. Course, sir, did you just see that silhouette we just emerged from? What? Oh yes, of course. It's deadly. It's risky. Very well rolled, sir, but you need to stop making that gesture. Yes, that one. The locals don't like it. It doesn't mean what you think. It's exotic. It's villainous. Yes, sculptures are villainous. What does this note even say? It's too dark to read it. What if I put it in the bug tank? No, still no luck. It's cloak and dagger. Oh, my lower back, not again. Oh, Zappo! This is for selling secrets to the enemy, you bloody bastard. Oh, it's super scientific.
Oh no, not the doomsday device. These goggles are no help at all. At least leave the door open so we can escape.
I don't think I will. It's Classified. They came from Classified. They came from Classified. A game of cinematic espionage inspired by all your favorite spy movies and TV shows.
Hello everyone, take two. Welcome to the Onyx Path, where lately we've had a lot of gremlins. I don't know what the problem is, but tonight we are gathering to enjoy a fine tale of Cavaliers of Mars as This is Cavaliers of Mars month over at Drive-Thru RPG and at Indie Press Revolution. It is the 10th anniversary of Onyx Path, so each month this year we are doing special sales and special events. This is one such special event to promote such a special sale. So definitely, if you've not yet done so, head over and pick up all of Cavaliers of Mars. I think you can get the entire line for less than $5 right now over at Drive-Thru RPG in PDF. And it's also 50% off in traditional printing over at Indie Press Revolution. So with that, I'm going to shut my mouth and hand it over to Tom, who's going to have the game mastering duties for the night. I'm just going to sit back and play and have a good time.
I hope. Thank you. So welcome, everyone. Cavaliers of Mars. We are going to be running through the published adventure, Witch Queen of the Shadowed Citadel, which is a really, really fun and amazingly written adventure by Dixie Cochran and Steffi Devan. Obviously, Cavaliers of Mars is a swashbuckling and romance, sword and planet science fantasy setting by the incomparably talented Rose Bailey. And it is basically just your very much sword and sorcery with sci-fi, John Carter of Mars, all these things all sort of thrown together in this really, really rich and beautifully detailed system. As a little intro, we've got this little spiel. Return now to dying Mars in its last age of glory. It's a planet of flashing swords and choking sands, of winking courtesans and lantern-lit canal cities. Mars, where fortune and death are two sides of the same obsidian chit, where lost cities and dry oceans stretch between the last bastions of civilization, where the first Martians, the monument builders, are but a haunted memory, where the red Martians become decadent and reckless in their last days, where the pale Martians rule the wastes, reassembling a history whose weight would crush a lesser people. It is probably time to introduce your characters, I think, actually. I'll go left to right on my view. So let's start with Ben, if you would be so kind.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I am playing Arlo Naranavi. He is an adept who grew up on the streets and has never quite fully left the streets, though he does bring a little bit of the wealth from the streets above back to his abode.
Nice. And what does Arlo look like? Is he a red Martian?
He is a red Martian. He's a roundhead, in fact.
Oh, okay. Can you explain roundheads, please?
Roundhead is a subset, as it were, kind of a red Martian. Their brains are a little too large for their domes, and so you see a little bit of pulsing veins and very little hair, which in this case has been shaved clean off, in an attempt to try and make that a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and also in keeping with how adepts work as a career. I have my astrology sign of my birth tattooed across my scalp.
That's really cool. Fantastic. And Travis.
Yes, just allow me to unmute myself. I'm Travis. I'll be playing Ochekafan, and Ochekafan is a merchant from the Bazaar of Venice who is always looking to find new ways to increase reach, wealth, knowledge, understanding, but mostly reach and wealth. They are a red Martian, and their principal reason for adventuring is to increase their reputation, increase their profile among the trade routes of Mars. They're not like dishonest. They are very much an honest merchant, very much about building that reputation and sort of becoming the purveyor of all fine things and secret knowledge of Martian civilization.
That's splendid. And sincere apologies. I should have begun with this, but, my name is Tom and my pronouns are he, him. Travis is Ocheka, they, them.
Ocheka is they, them, and my pronouns are he, him, they is fine as well.
Thank you so much. And Ben, just to clarify as well, could you give your and your character's pronouns, please?
Both my character will be using he, him as pronouns.
Great, thank you so much. And apologies for not doing that up front, everyone. Let's move on to Sam. Sam, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself, your character, and their pronouns?
Hey, I'm Sam. I'm playing Zhao Busolana, a laborer soldier from the streets of Soto. So look, basically, so my pronouns are she, her. I'll be using the same for Zhao. And so description-wise, she's a bit heavy set. Basically, she's a wandering soldier, essentially. Not quite by choice. You know what? Sometimes the trouble comes to her. She tries to keep as low profile as possible, but you can essentially point her out by the big long shafted hammer that she carries.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Want to hear all about that hammer later. And let's move over to Crystal. Would you introduce yourself, your character, and your character's pronouns, please?
Yeah. I'm Crystal Mazer. I am going to be playing Violet de Zodiac. She is, we both use she, her, and mix. And she is a astrologer of noble birth from the location of Zodiac. And she uses her insight to kind of help guide herself and her I'm blanking on the words here. Okay. And guide her to help the others make decisions for laws and everything like that when it comes to figuring out what direction they want to head to.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Alexis, would you be kind enough to introduce yourself, your character, and you and their pronouns?
All right. I'm Alexis. I go by she, her. My character today is Trista Cogliostri. She also goes by she, her. Trista is a Ozak, and she lives a fairly simple life. As she's walking through the Martian landscape, she wears a billowing burnous that wraps around her head a couple times and then goes back over her shoulders. You see there's a couple straps across her chest that have a number of bullets stuffed into them. And at her hip is a large, really hefty looking pistol. She's got muscles and a no shenanigans look on her face.
That's amazing. That's really cool. So as we begin our tale today, you actually start in what can only be described as one of the most weird and wonderful places in the entire setting, which is the Labyrinth of Night, in particular in the Shadowed Citadel, or approaching the Shadowed Citadel. This entire region is just absolutely bonkers. So basically, the Labyrinth of Night is this vast, strange, absolutely immense underground catacomb. It's just a huge sort of cave network. Think of it like a little chunk of, the Underdark, just this weird wonderland of subterranean strangeness. It is accessible through the northern end of the Wyeth Valley, where the Wyeth women make their home in this unusually lush and verdant place on the blasted landscapes, windswept sandscapes of Mars. But at the northernmost end of this huge canyon, there is this great and mysterious machine. And rumors abound about this gargantuan 100-meter tall machine that kind of flanks and encompasses the northern end of the valley. And it is through this, like an enormous doorway, that one accesses the Labyrinth of Night. And then through the Labyrinth of Night, there's a whole bunch of different things, but the absolutely most famous and interesting and feared is the Shadowed Citadel. And the Shadowed Citadel is effectively an entire city cathedral. You know, it's like the Vatican, but way more strange and gothic. It is where the Witch Queen makes her home. Now, there are all sorts of rumors about the Witch Queen. The most common is that she actually is a Venusian, so from Venus, and crashed here many ages ago and has made her home here. Some say there are all manner of rumors around her, like that she controls the weather, that she has vast sorceress power, that some say that she's bound, luckily, to her citadel. So this temple has effectively grown up around her. Her worshippers have built this city out of beautiful white stone. And really, it's more sort of like bone stone. And so your trek here through the labyrinth, we're just going to sort of skip over that. That'd probably be a whole campaign in its own right, because this journey was not a small one. But I do want to touch on it and get a little bit of creative input with regards to this journey, because typically you all start with 5 drama points. What I'm going to do is give each of you the opportunity to earn and start with 1 extra one by adding a detail of something interesting that happened on the way here on your journey. So, for example, Arlo, Ben.
Yes.
You're a bit of a searcher and purveyor of goods, is that correct? Is that your main character trait? Would you say that you are sort of a scholar slash? Oh no, wait, sorry, pardon.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Nope. You are more of a scoundrel.
A checker might be who you're after then.
Yeah.
A checker. That's true. Okay, so with Arlo then. Okay, so you have got. Oh, interesting. Okay, no, perfect. So you actually have crazy psychic mind powers, right?
I wouldn't call them crazy, but sure.
Sorry, but yeah. And actually, I probably shouldn't. I shouldn't either. But you have bonkers mind powers, and they are. So what strange anomaly? What strange? I suppose either because it is just. All bets are off with the weird shit that you encountered through the Labyrinth of Night. Just think of it like a strange, like Wonderland, but the Underdark version of it, right? So, like if Wonderland had an Underdark, this would be it. Okay. So, if you could say just an anomaly, a strange anomaly that you encountered, either causing you trouble or benefit, up to you.
No, I understand. Okay, a strange anomaly that we encountered. It was an unusual cave where we thought initially that it was fashioned out of crystal. And the light from our torches would shine and refract across it. But upon closer inspection, it was very, very slow, thick moving water. And it was running along in cascades that seemed to defy gravity, going around the curvature of the tunnel itself. And so you could almost run your finger along, and if you held it there for long enough, it would come back a little bit damp, but there was always something in movement, something in motion, which caused the lights and shadows to play with one another. But fortunately, being able to commune with the wind and ghosts that make up this place, I was able to confirm that there was nothing more insidious, just a geographical and atmospherical anomaly.
That's amazing. And yes, you have earned yourself your bonus drama point. Let's move over to Travis and Ucheka. You are the merchant, of course, yes? So,
that is correct.
You can add whatever detail you like. As a suggestion, you might think of perhaps a product or a resource that you were looking at, some strange thing that you could perhaps have gathered or taken to return to sell.
I think perhaps some sort of a thinking like a spice or like a fungus that a spice can be derived from that is unique to the labyrinth. that I've managed to gather some clippings of in the hopes of not only selling some of it, but possibly even farming some of it once we return home. If I can
That's
create,
awesome.
The appropriate conditions for it. I got to keep this this pack of spores alive long enough to get back there to somebody who knows a little bit more about horticulture than I do, and hopefully we can turn this into the next big fortune.
That's really great. And when you say spice, is this like dune spice, or is this like oregano?
I'm thinking more food spice, though maybe it's food spice with a little bit. It's like we don't get to fold space, but maybe if you eat something that's been seasoned with it, your eyes might get a little glowy.
Oh, nice. I like that. That's really cool. Yeah, definitely earned 1 drama point for that. And moving over to Sam.
Yes.
What trouble, being very much one of the warrior types that we have here, what trouble did you encounter? What strange beast or tense conflict did you have with some of the unusual residents of this dark and foreboding place?
I think that Zhao would probably be in the front if we had some sort of marching order through this thing. And so basically there would be a moment where this creature that defies all description kind of jumps out. And so Zhao immediately jumps into like the defensive positions, pulls out this long hammer that's about as tall as she is, and immediately jumps into essentially I know it. There's actually a historical guard, and it's called the Ladies' Guard. And so it's essentially just holding it behind your head, and it's basically so that you're at the ready.
Okay.
And at this alleyway, this alleyway is essentially like a kind of narrow. It's like if you think about it in like I'd say like 5 feet across, and it's essentially. I don't run away.
No.
Running away is a terrible idea. You will get done in the back for it.
Right.
But go backward. So essentially, Zhao is kind of doing what she's learned from her travels and, swinging the hammer up and up as, she's getting everyone to back off. And as soon as we're at a proper distance, she kind of just runs in and just, wham, down.
All right, you know what? That is so energetic.
Splattered in like something. She doesn't even want to know.
That is amazing. All right, that was so spirited. I'm actually going to give you 2 bonus drama points. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Been trying to screw you, buddy. So let us move over to Crystal and Violet. What? Let me try and think here. Actually. So obviously, Mix Violet's main shtick is astrology. Is that correct?
Yes.
What event or situation or anything at all, pathway, perhaps shortcut, did you either very, very correctly and feel great or very, very incorrectly predict through your prophesizing?
So where the location that they're at right now is underground. And so at first they didn't have any sort of stars for her to be able to follow or navigate. And there were a couple of days where they were traveling where it didn't feel like they were getting any headway as far as where they were going. And so she was able to figure out that the stars were actually being reflected in small points of gemstones that are in the around the caverns of them. And she was able to map a pathway for them over several nights to be able to make their way through this area and get out.
That's amazing. That's really creative. I love that a lot. You've definitely earned a drama point. And I'm also, based on that description and based on that fortuitous plotting and planning and path correction, I will say that you actually also get a windfall.
Nice.
So you have a D4 that you can use for a future roll, basically
Awesome.
just anything at all. We'll go into the details of the rules once we get cracking, but finally, last but not least, Trista, Alexis, also of a military bent, but I believe also a bodyguard, in a bodyguard capacity to Ocheka. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We landed on that. Fantastic. What terrible threat, or minor threat that he just still won't shut up about, did you manage to protect Ocheka from during the journey?
Ocheka found the spice and sampled a small portion of it, and then proceeded to spend a number of days whining repeatedly about his fear of the dark. It was frustrating to have to hold a light over his shoulder for days at a time while he fueled about the scary shadows.
That's amazing. And so it sounds like Ocheka has chosen to expand the roles of bodyguard to overworked personal assistant as well. Is that correct? Good.
Absolutely.
I mean, no tension there whatsoever. Splendid. And yes, of course, you've definitely earned an extra drama point there, Alexis. So as we begin our tale today proper, you have made your way through this Labyrinth of Night, and you've made your way through to what is the Shadowed Citadel. You, being a group of adventurers, have been invited here for this beautiful 3-day event in the temple of the Witch Queen. She has offered you an invite, or at least, her priests have, based on the fact that you will be able to tell some tales of your greatest adventures from the outside world, and with the hopes that this will, entertain and placate their extremely powerful and oftentimes apparently very bored queen. As you make your way through to the Shadowed Citadel, it is just really quite remarkable. It's an entire city that is also effectively a temple of worship. So it stands in stark contrast to the rest of the labyrinth. You're in a particularly gargantuan cavern, and there is this delicately woven cathedral. As you rise onto the hill and look out for the first time at its form, it is of white, sort of almost bone-colored stone, and it stands in, as mentioned, very stark contrast to the darkness around. Centuries of water has stained and sort of eroded the citadel to the color of bleached bone, but its magnificence is still absolutely undeniable. The whole city, as mentioned, is a cathedral celebrating the Witch Queen. It's wedged in between these sort of sprawling palaces. You can see there are sort of smaller buildings carved from mudstone. So it's almost like there's a couple of main palaces that are connected together with other smaller palaces and other buildings and such like that. There are workers here constantly moving. Think of it like there's constant scaffolding, constant maintenance and such like that. You can just see hundreds of small figures in really quite dangerous, precarious locations up above as well. Workplace health and safety would have an absolute field day with this entire complex. It's almost like this place is never finished. And you can see the crest of the Witch Queen, which is this great finned serpent. So sort of like an aquatic serpent is the crest as well. It adorns everything. It's just like everyone wants to know, yep, great, we support the Witch Queen. Witch Queen, yay. And it is also, one other thing of note is that the Citadel is absolutely awash with an aesthetic that is unique to this place, which is umbrellas. Beautiful, silken, multicolored umbrellas of all kinds of fascinating, strange, intricate designs, different sizes, different shapes. It's just like the main streets of the city are just umbrella town, and not just that, but also replacing things like awnings from buildings. You just got this. And the reason I have that is that it's constantly under at least a little bit of rainfall because of the fact that there are these great big lichen trees. And when I say big, I'm talking like, Endor-sized trees, right? They are just, almost a kilometer high. They just stretch up and kind of encapsulate and create something like a tree canopy on the top of this immense cathedral. And so there is always these, raindrops coming down. And similar to looking up at the night sky, you've just got these absolutely resplendent, phosphorescent, different multicolored, flowers, insects. So many of them are luminous and glow in the dark. And so you've just got this really quite beautiful rainbow of, sort of strange, haunting colors that descend from above. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, as you make your way through the city streets to get up to the actual temple itself, so many temples. So the entire city is kind of a temple. And then there's like the main, I guess you'd say like the main palace, right? Her main abode. And then apparently within that is actually the kind of like the inner temple proper, if that makes sense, which no one's allowed in except for her and the very, very few people that she allows in. But where you're going to here is this main temple area. And once again, it is just garishly decorated. You think even more than normal because of this amazing celebration. The streets are a little bit congested, and so as you make your way through, you can see that there's these, common sort of mud worker buildings and residences that are stuck into this beautiful, splendid abode. And you encounter your first obstacle, even before you've reached the temple itself. So you can see that there is a Wyeth woman, and a slightly unusual Wyeth woman and to explain the Wyeth women, they are effectively plant women who are native to the Wyeth Valley, which you've come through. And she looks rather upset, and she's actually holding a cloth to her head, and she has a little bit of blood that is coming down from it. She's leaning up against what looks like a merchant wagon, with a distressed but completely unharmed beast of burden. And these beasts of burden are these strange black-furred lizards. So they're sort of like dinosaurs, like the four like quadrupedal dinosaurs with sleek black fur, sort of short, chunky boys, basically. Like they're quite sort of bulbous in their shape. But yeah, this thing looks irritated and annoyed. The wagon itself, you can see, is damaged, and one of the wheels has come off, and whatever cargo she was carrying is gone. It looks like a post-bandit attack, and you have seen many of such things. Luckily, both her beast and her are unharmed. And as mentioned, she is a plant woman, which is what they look like, made out of sort of like a dryad or some such thing. But what makes her unique is that she is bone white in her appearance. Like her bark-like skin is just absolutely bone white, and her hair is this phosphorescent blue and green lichen. Which is, once again, you've encountered a few Wyeth women down here in the labyrinth, and she would just be one of the ones from that region. But anyway, that is what you see. She looks up at you with kind of a reserved, cautious look, because you are all armed, and it seems like she may have had some problems with a group that may have looked just like you. But what do you do?
I'll probably lean over to Trista and say, perhaps look around a bit, see if, make sure the trouble is gone. If you don't mind, I'd like to see how this person is doing.
So I will just do a quiet nod and then just circle the wagon kind of to see if there's like tracks or something leading away that I can go and, kind of follow after for a way.
Absolutely. And that would bring us, I think, to the first roll of the game, as you can do basically a sort of search investigation check. So the way the Cavaliers of Mars works in its basic system is, you will notice if you look to your character sheets that characters have got 3 motivations, they have got 3 methods, and they have some other miscellaneous traits. So for those that are familiar with systems like Cortex Plus or Cortex Prime, it works very similarly, where each of them is rated as a die type rather than a number. So rather than having a 5 in strength, you've got to say like a D12 in force, for example. So the motivations are for honor, for love, and for self, and the methods are with cunning, with force, and with grace. So generally speaking, you'll always be taking 2 of these. And then if you have any trait that also applies, you can add those dice in as well. You roll them all, and then you add the 2 highest rolling dice. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yep.
Great. So please walk us through this particular roll. What would Trista use to, search a scene like this?
So Ozaks are traditionally very well known for doing hard work. So for the honor of my people, I will get on it, and I'll use a little bit of cunning to see if I have, a little bit of experience and, wily ways to see if I can figure out what these bandits have done.
That's perfect. That makes perfect sense to me. And are there any traits that you think you could also throw in there?
Maybe my streets. Is that?
I would definitely say that 100%. Okay. Yeah.
So remind me what that will add.
Oh, so basically, if I have a look on your character sheet, your origin streets of Vance is a D6. So yeah, just go ahead and definitely add that. You're literally searching a street. So.
So the 2 highest are going to be a 16.
Wow. Okay. That is amazing. Such a incredibly overachieving roll requires a windfall, I think. Typically windfalls don't come from a simple search check, but I just think because I rolled a total of 4 and you got a 16. And so what you have now is a little resource called a windfall, which is a D4 that you can add to any future roll that you like. Basically, this is just to represent the fact that you really get a good sense of this architecture and these streets. You think you've got it down. So what you also determine from that is that, you think there was a group of people. You put their number at maybe 5 or 6, and they came and they probably just used threat. However, this Wyeth woman was also struck at least once, perhaps as an intimidation tactic, or maybe because she initially resisted. But apart from that, you don't think that there are any other, guards that were murdered and taken away. But yeah, the cargo was taken, and whatever it was obviously not very heavy or very large, because you don't see them straining and such. But no, they're muddy footprints. You can very clearly see that they go off into what would be effectively a dark alley. So it is up. You definitely know where they've gone, and you think it was very recent. So it's up to you whether you would pursue by yourself or whether you would draw your companions to follow you as well.
I'll rejoin.
You go back, yeah. So armed with this information, we go back. Now let's go back to. Is anybody going to be talking to this poor set upon merchant or traveler?
I will if no one else does.
I would probably call out to her and just try to offer some reassurances that we are friendly. Ask if she's in any need of aid, and if she can describe whoever has, just tell her it's very clear to me that you've been attacked. Who was responsible?
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, no, that's perfect. So if you do so, she is initially, and probably very rightly so, reserved and cautious, and is very kind of standoffish, and just kind of glares at you while with like a 1,000-yard stare while holding the rag up to her bloody forehead. You think that she will need some reassurance to talk to you at all. You can give me some kind of reassurance check, persuasion or.
Yeah. What I'd like to do is I'll just say, oh, of course, forgive me. I am Ochekafan. I am a well-traveled merchant, and quite familiar with your people's goods. I believe you specialize in, and I list 3 or 4 goods that the Wyleth are known for. And I would like to, as far as things to draw from, I would like to, my motivation would be for honor, because again, at the end of the day, having that reputation as a reliable merchant is important to me.
Absolutely.
Methods would be, I would assume this would be with grace, because I'm not trying to like outwit this person. I'm really trying to just be as gentle and honest as possible. And if I could add my merchant career to that as well.
I think so. Now, before you roll, to bring some other people in on this and to show off how teamwork and assistance works.
Sure.
Anybody else? I'm going to say I'll probably limit it to maybe 2 other people. Can basically also throw in their 2 cents or lend some assistance in reassuring this poor woman. So anybody that would like to volunteer, all you would do is simply describe how you help, like what you say, or even just how you use comforting body language or whatever. And you can add the highest dice that you could justify adding, and then Travis will have that in his pool as well.
If I might.
Please.
Oh, and Sam, you want to jump in on as well?
Yeah, yes, please.
All right.
But you go first.
Okay. So, yes, as Ocheka is reassuring her of our bona fides, our credentials, I will stand off to the side of him, taking a look at the scene itself with some measure of disgust.
Mm-hmm.
Dear lady, we are not brigands, not certainly as commonplace as those that dared assault you. Give us but the means to find them, and we shall see your goods returned and your honor restored.
That's good. And what dice would you be adding, and what value is it, so Travis knows?
I would like to go with for love on this one. I've been not surely as wounded as the Wyeth woman, but certainly I feel for her. There's an empathy that comes across as that. And just to put it into context, my criminality is generally, well, not victimless, but certainly I would not be so callous as to strike somebody.
Oh, of course. There you go. Lovely. Okay, excellent. And so what is the die value?
That's a D10.
Okay, Travis, just so you know, extra D10. And Sam?
Yes, so I'm watching all of this happen. And I think as part of the reassurance, that we're not like terrible people, I would like to offer to help fix up the cart.
Oh, nice. You reassure with deed rather than words. That's amazing. So you pick up the wheel and start to try to fix it, basically.
Great. So enlist Arlo to look under the cart to see if there's anything broken, or anything that's missing, or broken axle, broken wheel.
That's cool.
Like
and that is a creative assistant. So actually, I'm going to let, if Violet wishes to, Violet can also assist with some words of reassurance as well, since obviously Sam's going to be more sort of hanging back and fixing the wheel. Is there anything that Violet would like to do to add in the assistance as well, Crystal?
Yeah, I would also basically say, like, as a woman of noble birth, I make assurances that all of these individuals are acting with grace and kindness to help you as best as we can with this. And if there is anything that you can tell us about these individuals, if you saw anything or what they look like that may help us, we may be able to get your goods returned to you.
Okay. And what would you be using to add this? What's the die type?
So she would be doing this for honor. So it'd be a D8.
Great. All right, Travis, with all them bonuses, please roll.
Will do.
No pressure, of course. But
none at all. And it's the highest sum, correct?
It is the 2 highest. You add them together.
Yep. So that would be a 9.
Great. That's pretty good. Let's see if it's enough. Oh, since we're rolling dice now, we should go through the one resource that you all share, which is drama points. Because drama points are kind of important, and technically you can potentially even spend one here. So really, really quickly, Your characters have got the number that you start with. Normally it's 5 plus the bonus ones I gave for your sweet narration in adding narrative details to begin things. There's a few things you can use them for, and by a few I mean 5. One is you can, when rolling a basic action, which this is, you can actually add a third dice to your results. So you roll the same number of dice, but you can choose to add in a third one. The second one is just a scratch. So after combat, you can remove half of your current strain. You can spend one to just called lore, which is to you just happen to know an obscure truth or rumor that may help in the current situation. You can either ask me, or it's normally more fun if you make it up yourself. And once again, that's just complete narrative control and declaration. Whatever you want to add, you can. And similar to that is the plot twist. So with this one here, this is your classic. You can have an ally show up. You can have the bridge collapse under the fleeing enemy. You can, make some narrative declaration about the environment around you. There's one which is rally, and that's usable in combat. So we'll deal with that as it comes up in combat, but basically it's you add an extra D4 to a combat action, a result. And finally, you've got second wind. So in combat, after making a resolve roll, which we'll get into later, you can roll a D4 and add it to that as well. So let me just have a quick check. I will tell you that that is not required in this case, Travis, because she did not roll high enough in her resolve there, or the difficulty, I should say, in reassuring her. She seems very reassured indeed. And she looks up at you and just, takes the cloth away and says, well, I appreciate that for sure. I am glad to come upon such enterprising and heroic folk. If you would be kind enough to pursue the villains that did this to me, I should reward you handsomely. They fled not a few minutes ago, back there. Which way they turned, I do not know. I lost them. I intended to pursue them stealthily, but I am no tracker, and I could not follow their steps. There was 5 of them, so you are an even match, and they have taken something very precious. It was a serpent, a finned serpent that I had specially bred over these last months in order to present as a tribute to the Witch Queen. The serpent resembles her crest perfectly, and as far as I am aware, the only actual living creature of his kind.
Does this beast bite or carry a venom? Should we be concerned?
Okay, so she gives you a wry smile and says, indeed it does if you were to handle it physically and were not skilled in animal handling as I am. However, it is in a sealed tank, a smallish and portable tank, and so you should be able to return it without touching the creature itself, and I would ask you very much not to do so.
No, it's an important safety tip. Any luck, Trista?
Yes, they've gone down this alley here.
Well, then we should make haste to go after them, yes?
Alo's already running in that direction that Trista has indicated.
Zhao is very sees Alo running down the alleyway and just runs after him.
She says, as a final word, my name is Namada, and should you die and not return, I shall sing songs of your bravery.
There will be no need for songs, save those of celebration as we return you your goods. I wish you all a fine bit of luck, as I will stay here and keep the lady company.
Oh, really? Not following your companions? Okay.
That sounds like a whole bunch of a bad idea going on down there.
That's great. All right, that's not a problem whatsoever. So so the rest of the actual heroes make their way down the down the alleyway. Trista, you lead on. You show them the way. Obviously, you're up front. When you get down to the end of the alleyway, you come upon a very strange sight indeed. You can see that the end of the alleyway just kind of closes, and you can see what look to be 4 very disgruntled and very terrified-looking individuals, rough-looking men and women who have got Really your sort of classic brigand attire. A lot more robes, though. Like lots of. Think of it like just your typical sort of swashbuckling, Three Musketeers style bandits. They're all red Martians except for one, which is a large female pale Martian. Ooh. And pale Martians, just to give you an idea, red Martians, by the way, I don't think we described, are really just humans. They're not literally red like the John Carter ones are. They have at most a sort of slight bronze tinge to their skin tone, which ranges typically from tan to dark brown, and their hair is normally sort of brown to black. But in this case, pale Martians are very different. They're 8 foot tall. They have got 4 arms. And they've got tusks, and they're really cool. But the point is, these ones are not looking at you at all. They look at the fact that the alleyway itself seems to have closed, like physically morphed, like Jareth in the Labyrinth, manipulating the entire environment, the buildings, and has crushed someone, because you can just see, a la Wizard of Oz, there's a couple of feet sticking out from this, crushed alleyway at the very end. And there's a blood stain that is seeping down the alleyway. One of a woman with sort of short, spiky hair and shaved on one side, who has got a pair of hand axes, is currently holding the tank, and she just kind of puts it down and says, "Nope, fuck that, I'm out," and then just goes and turns to walk and leave. And then obviously they see you as I assume you're not being stealthy, right? You're just kind of trouncing up like, "Hello, we're heroes." So there is a tense confrontation, obviously, because of the fact that you are blocking them off from their only retreat, and they probably just witnessed their friend get smashed by a living alleyway, and so they don't like that at all. I mean, I wouldn't. So anyway, they don't look like they're going to attack you straight away. They definitely, it's very much a Wild West standoff. There's a tumbleweed goes by, hands slowly stray to rapiers and axes and flint lasers. What do you do?
Zhao leans on her hammer in a very casual way and says, "Oh, what's the matter? Looks like there should have been more of you. What happened there?"
That's great. I love that voice, Sam.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Really good stuff. So the pale Martian just kind of crosses both of her pairs of arms and sort of glares at you and says, "I'd say that's none of your business. Now sod off."
Oh, mi dispiace. I'm so sorry. But you have something that we're after.
Okay, she tries to give it. You can clearly see ticking over in her head. She's trying to think of a witty retort to that, and then just obviously still stressed by this whole situation behind, just kind of flubs it and says, "I've got this that you're after," and just pulls out 2 swords and goes to attack you. So let's have a fight, shall we? Everyone. Blah blah blah. Your mother. So. Basically, the way that the combat system works is this really, really innovative and really cool system that I really like. It's kind of gambling based. The way it works is that each of you, if you look to your character sheet, you will have a speed rating. Spoiler alert, it's 3 for all of you. I've checked. Now, what you're going to do is you need 3 different colors of D10s, okay? And they are going to be for the basic actions that you can take during combat. And the way this works is that red, generally speaking, is your strike. White is your stunt or maneuver. And black is your defense or your parry, okay? And each of you are going to basically just divide your 3 dice between whatever colors you like. You can have 3 parries, you can have 3 strikes, whatever you want to do. 1 parry, 1 strike, 1, completely your choice. And basically just all together, we're going to roll our dice. Sorry. We're going to roll our dice. And then once you've done so, I'm going to count down from 10 to 1. And when a particular result on your dice pops up, it takes effect, and we'll go through what that is when it happens. But for now, just allocate your dice, and it's a good opportunity to kind of I guess, describe your character's combat style, if that makes sense. Like if you have 3 strike, you might describe your character being really aggressive and, or just super quick. Whereas if you fight more carefully and defensively, with lots of black D10s, you can describe it that way. But anyway, up to you. Let me know when you, yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Are combat maneuvers also playing a part in this, or not for the first round?
We will, just not for the first combat. We're just going to do it incrementally, if that's okay. I mean, listen, if you're familiar, if you've read over them and you have one that you want to whip out, then that's fine. I was going to hold off on them for the first fight, if that's okay.
That's fine. All right. So taking dice and rolling.
Yes, please. And just give me a heads up when you have done so.
I have rolled just so that I can keep you appraised of what I am doing whilst the fight is going on. I've rolled 3 stunt dice to represent the actions I will be taking.
That's great. Okay, fantastic. And you can always join in, Travis, when you hear the.
Unless somebody screams for help, I have no intention of going anywhere near that mess.
Well, we'll see what happens, but yeah. Feel free to interject with whatever you like. All right, so if we've all rolled and got our results, I'm going to... Oh, incidentally, I'm rolling for the group as a whole because they're a minion group where, basically the way it works is they are just going to roll 1 dice for each of them. They don't parry. They just have a strike threshold, which is what you have to beat to strike against them. But any hoozle, I'm going to start counting down and just, call out if you have a dice that meets the value that I say. So 10?
I do have something here for that.
Great.
All right. So telekinetic control allows me to strike in combat as well as move an opponent. It requires a combo of 1 strike and 1 stunt. My strike is 1, but my stunt is 10. Do I employ that now?
Sorry, once more.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry. Help me out. Yeah.
No, quite all right. So telekinetic control.
Yes.
Has a combo which requires a dice for strike and a dice for stunt. I have a strike of 1 and a stunt of 10.
Interesting. Okay. So the way that I would read that is that because you're essentially spending both of those to get a telekinetic strike. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So it sounds like that stunt dice is sort of almost like the cost you pay to be able to use that telekinetic strike as a strike, which would mean that the value of the strike, the way I read it anyway, and please anyone else feel free to correct, but I think that it should still be the actual attack that you're making should really just use the strike. Maybe the stunt kind of when it takes effect, that's your, the visual cue that you're about to strike somebody with something telekinetic?
Not entirely certain.
Yeah, I would say
if you want, I can forego it.
I would say it's likely an expenditure of that because you're not the value that you're going to be acting upon is going to be, I would assume, just the highest of the value. It's just that you're using both of those dice. And so as opposed to being able to take the ancillary action, you are giving up that action in order to be able to take that strike.
Makes sense.
So it would be the way I would interpret it.
Well, that was my initial thought as well. So look, let's move on and take it as that for now. So so did anybody else get a 10?
I do. But my on my 10 is, would you like some tea?
Yes. Yes, I would. Thank you. It's a nice little scene. It's just there's an awkward pause. We can vaguely hear the clanging of swords in the background. She's just like, hey, it's a bit rainy today. So 9.
Oh, sorry. Does my thing not go?
Oh. No. So it'll go when we get down to your strike action.
Got it. All right, then carry on.
You're spending your stunt to be able to do the telekinetic strike on your strike. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Sorry, who got 9? I saw a couple of hands there. All 3. Okay, fantastic. Well, I mean, simultaneously. I'll just go left to right if that's okay. So Sam, what is your 9 value? What is it? Is it a strike or?
It's a parry.
Okay. In that case, then we will keep that there for now. But that's good to know. Crystal, do you have a strike or a stunt?
So I have a stunt. And I am actually going to be, because I am not a fighter. Definitely not a fighter. Violet is actually going to be standing behind everything, watching all of the others move on the field. And if anyone makes a wrong move, she is either going to cut them off or tell everybody what's happening if they don't see it.
That's awesome. And so the way that can, I guess, mechanically manifest is, with a bonus of +2. Is that so? Typically speaking, that's you've got your stunt. So so basically, just so the way this works is you or an ally. So you can call it. So we'll say you can call out to an ally if somebody decides to use it and gets a +2 to their roll. So that's awesome, fantastic. And also Alexis. Trista, I got a 9. Was that a strike or a stunt?
That was on my strike. Now,
awesome.
I counted it as a 9 because I have deadly force.
That's okay. Yep. Anything.
So I get a +1 bonus on my strike dice.
That counts 100%. Yeah. Oh. Fantastic. So the way this works is that you definitely have beaten the threshold there. So you take out one of them. So just please describe how you do so.
I just quick draw my pistol. I just slowly sidetrack it and then knock it off, and it gets them right here. Adds to the puddle that's already kind of splashed across the alley.
That's so cool. Done. Absolutely happens. That's awesome. And 8. Anyone have an 8? Shall.
Yep,
let's do
that's
it.
Me.
Hi.
All right.
Is your 8 a strike or a stunt?
It's a strike.
Oh yeah. So
yes.
once again, long story short, you take out another one of them. Then describe how you do so.
Yes. So do they all have swords or do they all have various weapons?
They have various weapons, but only one matters, which is your hammer. It's hammer time. What happens?
Okay, excellent. So basically, what I do is I take I slip back the grip on the hammer. Mm-hmm. I collect one of the combatants' blades, swing it around so that the hammer is actually on top of the blade, and then wham into the torso.
That's awesome. Yep. So their chest crumples. They fall down to the ground, utterly dead. Fantastic. Now 7. No 7s. Great. 6. I have a 6. Okay, so so one of them. Now I'm going to say actually that this person, we'll say it's the short, spiky haired woman that was carrying the tank. She is going to attack you, Sam. She's going to attack Zhao for killing her friend, and but you, luckily, I believe, have a parry also in reserve, don't you? That was really high. So you remove that parry dice. You take that off the board, but you are unhurt. You swing the hammer around, or I mean, hell, maybe you knock her friend into her dead friend.
I can swing one end and then swirl around with the other, with the butt of the hammer,
poker
to just push her back.
Right, fantastic. So yeah, you're unharmed. That's totally fine. 5. Any 5s?
Oh yeah, actually.
Okay. And what is this one?
Another strike.
Great. So in that case, then you take out another one. So how do you do that?
So I guess with the same target, I've parried, and then with the butt of the hammer to the face.
Nice. Yep. Take crunch. You cave her head in. She falls to the ground, utterly taken out. Fantastic. 4. Any 4s? Ooh, Crystal. Fantastic.
So
what is your 4?
So this was actually a bonus dice. Because again, I'm not planning on fighting, but I am planning on watching for when everything parts directly to the tank. And as soon as that opens up, I want to take an action to go to the tank.
Well, you can absolutely do that because you're in kind of the same zone already. You're all clumped together in the alleyway. So one of the things that that a stunt can do is some kind of a maneuver, right? So it can give a bonus, but it also allows you to move and do other things like that. So if you wanted to say that using that dice, you just pick up the tank and take it out of the alleyway to safety.
As I pick up the tank, though, I'm going to whisper, I know who you belong to. I'm taking you back to her.
That's nice. I like it. That's great. Yes, lovely. Always be nice to animals in my game. Will get you everywhere. So you see, by the way, like this resplendent creature. It is just, as mentioned, it's an aquatic snake. It's got fins. It's got sort of like, it's got a very kind of sort of fantasy water dragon look to it. It sort of swirls around, and it's got this beautiful sort of glowing blue color as well. So it's honestly like you're picking up a lantern as well. It looks up to you and sort of blinks and just kind of gives an approving nod, and you take it away.
She would keep talking to it too as this goes on, like trying to just establish a little bit of a friendship.
That's great. I mean, listen, you don't know whether it can understand you, but it is definitely it's maintaining eye contact and just kind of like nodding and like looking around, and so who knows? It's a strange creature. It could actually be sapient as well. Now I have a 4. And I'm going to use this 4 to attack Trista this time, because why not? Trista, do you have any parries?
I do.
Great. Due to the fact you didn't call out anything when I said 4, I'm going to imagine that your parry is lower than 4. Would that be correct?
My parry is 4, but I thought we only had to talk about strikes or stunts until. Oh, okay. All right.
Completely. No, that's my fault. Absolutely. So so that's good. So defense wins. So basically you are unhurt. Okay. So they try to attack you. Nothing happens. You block. You easily evade their strike. We'll say it's a burly fellow with 2 hand axes who kind of just wades in recklessly. He just saw 2 people get taken out in like 3 seconds. 3 people get taken out in 2 seconds. He's the only one left. He's not feeling great about his chances. So there you go. Do we have any 3s? Great. Now you have a 3, but that does not beat their strike threshold, which is 4. So you do. Is your 3 an attack or a stunt?
Stunt.
Stunt. Oh, okay. In that case, great. So you still have a +2 that you can either add to you or an ally's next parry or strike. So
I would like to kind of whip my burnous off and then just swing it over one of the foe's kind of neck and clothesline them so that they can't charge at one of my allies.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I love that. That's really great. Okay. And then we're going to go down to 1. Any ones?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
All right. So is there one that's coming or near to where Violet is, where she's holding onto the tank?
So no, because Trista has sort of wrangled the final remaining one. Because don't forget, three of the 4 have been taken out magnificently. So there's just that one.
Trista's got this one.
Currently is engaged, grappling with him as described wonderfully.
All right, then I might leave Trista to handle that one and just be ready then.
Okay, you can. I mean, you can. You have your telekinetic action. You paid a whole stunt.
Oh, I know, but I don't want to step on Trista's action at this point. As you say, she's got it in hand, so there isn't, strictly speaking, a need for me to intercede.
Okay, no worries then. Let the fighters do the fighting. That's fine. So that brings us then to the end of this round. So what we're going to do is what we would normally do is there is a final sort of phase, which is called break. So in this one, we determine who is too injured or exhausted to continue. None of you have taken any damage, so we're just going to actually sort of completely skip over this final phase. But if any of you take damage during a round, this is when you roll some things to see if you can keep fighting. But you're all just you're just kicking too much ass, so there's no need for that at the present time. So what we're going to do is rinse and repeat. Round 2, exactly the same. First of all, we're going to cut back to Travis real quick because you've heard the clashing in the alleyway for a little while now. Are you at all worried about your friends, or are you simply?
I'm not at all worried about them. I just want to make sure that our companion, our new Wylith friend, I'm terrible with names, and I will tell her as much. Forgive me, I'm terrible with names. What was your name again?
Oh, it's Namada.
How do you spell that, milady?
Nemada.
Excellent, Namada. Would you like a biscuit? They'll be fine. They're well trained. At least
Oh,
a couple of them are.
yeah. I've had some poor experiences with food from the world above. Would you say that its ingredients are potent?
Quite.
Is it a drug biscuit? I'm asking if it's a drug biscuit.
Oh, no, it's not that potent. No, it's just yummy. That's all.
Okay, she sort of looks you up and down and says, well, it better be. Okay, so she takes a bite and says, not bad. I give it a solid 7. So, while that nonsense is played out, has everyone rolled? We're all good to go? Great. So I was going to roll the 1 dice, so there's 1 minion. Oh, poor fellow. All right, so 10. 9. 8.
Oh, I got a 9. Sorry, I thought somebody else said 9.
No, all good. What is your 9?
I rolled all strikes this time.
Oh, great. So he's taken out. How do you finish this?
So I've got my hand around the burnoose. I just twist it up, yank him back so his head's right here, knock my pistol, and kablooey.
That's all.
Right to the side of his head. Yep.
Yep. So great. You turn his head into a canoe, and that's it. That's fantastic. So there we go. Final body slumps to the ground. Fish is taken. Oh, sorry. Pardon me. Water snake is taken perfectly safely out of the alleyway. You're all set to go. Combat over. Well done. So, do you make your way back hastily? Great.
I'm gonna take a minute and just rifle through the pockets and maybe try and figure out what happened to the legs that are sticking out of the wall.
Yeah. So I was wondering if as you watch the city itself, the actual walls kind of slide open, leaving a body I won't describe too much because it's pretty gross, but you can imagine. And it's just so weird. It just moves in front of your eyes. The alleyway opens up once again.
This isn't something we've seen happen any time before.
No,
here?
you live in a weird world, but this is something outside the bounds of the strange sights that you've seen. That's for sure.
I look at the rest, Zhao. Does that make any? You saw that, right?
I did.
Does that
does not make any sense to me. To be fair, I was going to actually tap it with the hammer. But it seems to have moved. I have not seen anything like this in my travels.
All right.
It's weird. Maybe we should question it.
Did that make a loud enough and strange enough noise that I would have noticed it from where I'm at?
Yes, 100%.
Excellent. Excuse me, if you would. Namada, was it?
Yes.
That sounds like it might merit some investigation.
I agree, but I appreciate the biscuit.
Of course. Enjoy. Refill our tea before I duck off to the
right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Right. So while you do that, yeah. So there you are. So are you staying in the alleyway, or are you returning? I mean, I guess Travis, you probably run into Violet as Violet's coming back with the tank. You're coming forward. You meet at the entrance to the alleyway.
Good show. What was that noise that sounded very much like construction work?
So Violet comes walking up and she's been holding a conversation with this water serpent. Whether it understands her or not, she's still talking to it. And she's like, oh, there was a wall that squished the dude that stole the water serpent. Did you do that? She looks down at the tank. Was that you?
So the serpent literally looks at you and goes.
So am I to understand?
I just had to check.
that this neighborhood has been outfitted with attack architecture.
If anybody is a person that knows lots of lore or rumors or, whatever you, looking at your sheet, could, pass for the equivalent of a knowledge check or, in particular.
So Violet is like foreordained, which like she can kind of get glimpses into the future, but I'm not sure that would work for this.
I definitely think.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you please.
I was gonna say I'm well-traveled, well-read. I have scholar as a career.
That might work a little bit better than.
I would definitely.
Zhao was a laborer.
Yeah. This is a bit. This isn't quite typical stonemasonry. However, I definitely think that both Violet and Ocheka could make a check here, some sort of, honestly, just with your supernatural leaning backgrounds and such like that, absolutely. So whatever dice pool you would like to assemble for, effectively a, what do I know about this nonsense?
If I could, I would say cunning, self, and scholar. If that's...
Yep, that works perfectly. And what about Violet? What's Violet using?
Definitely self and cunning. And
Great.
then the foreordained.
Great. That makes sense. Perfect.
Okay.
I got an 11.
Oh, interesting. Wow, that's actually really great. And what about Violet?
Oh, I got a 15.
Oh my. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this is going to be a knowledge check too. So what both of you know. You have heard rumors. There are many, many rumors about the Witch Queen. One of the most terrifying rumors is that she can literally control the city. So she can, through some arcane and sorcerous method, move the streets, move the buildings, which, is obviously a sorcery that is unknown in other places of Mars, really. And you strongly suspect that that's what's going on here. In fact, I'll say that you just definitely know that that's what's going on here. With a roll of a 16, you also know everything else. That's such a high roll. So the Witch Queen, by the way, her name is Yazora. And you would know a couple of extra details because that's a very high roll, but both of you actually got very high rolls I want to reward. So I'm going to say that you know a couple of things. That first of all, that the Witch Queen's name is Yazora. Second, that she is indeed confirmed a Venusian queen who was crash landed in her spaceship from Venus on Mars all those eons ago. And that there is effectively a cult or a religion that has grown up around her called the Daughters of the Mask, and they are kind of her main priestesses that venerate and worship her. Although everyone in this location does, they are definitely the authority, I guess, the religious authority. You would even know, I think, one step further, which is that Meridi, Meridi is non-binary and prefers Ziza for Zer pronouns, and Meridi is known as the Velvet Voice, and she basically acts as the sort of the spokesperson who talks to the plebeians when Yazora does not. But yeah, so you definitely know that the Yazora was manipulating the city, and that's what's caused this, whether intentionally or otherwise. That's it. The rumors of her being able to do so appear to be founded and true.
I was going to say, is there any evidence of some means of like remote perception that I can lock, like pools, portals, any sort of crystals, anything that I might be able to point to and say, oh, that's how they're watching what's going on, or does it, or am I getting more the impression that like they may have instinctively or through some means that's obscured to me, no. Attacking somebody very specifically in an alley, it's one thing to like, I'm going to move the streets around. It's another thing to like, I'm going to crush that dude.
Yeah, exactly. What I will say is between the two of you, possibly with Violet's incredible role helping you out as well, you do think that this is deliberate and intentional. You think that the goal was to stop these brigands and kill that fellow, but you don't think that there's any remote viewing here that you can see. So by whatever means she can observe this scene, there's no way to see that back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let Namada know that I think I do believe that the Witch Queen favors your gift quite a bit. It seems that there was some intercession on your behalf, which was the sound that we heard. That grating noise was not any means of natural construction, but a display of her immense control over her environs.
Yeah. Anyone have anything to say about that, or shall we move back to the wagon?
So it's a wonderful serpent. This is such a great gift. I enjoyed talking to it.
It kind of you get worried for a second because it kind of rolls over in the tank, but then you realize it actually. I mean, listen, this is just your inkling. This is your. And it's up to you whether you want to act upon this and risk doing so. But you think it actually wants a belly rub, like you think it wants a belly scratch, like because it's kind of like rolling backwards and kind of looking at you imploringly, like, huh?
Oh, is the cat trap or the dog trap?
Well, and don't forget also, you were also told very explicitly not to open the tank. That was something that Namada did not want you to do. Up to you.
Yes. No, since Namada asked us not to, I'm going to say maybe later, but not right now.
Okay. So the serpent just goes.
I know.
And just rolls over. You make your way back to the wagon, and Namada just just drops the tea. Just smashes little teacup, little beautiful porcelain, priceless china teacup on ground. Runs over, goes to grab the tank back. Looks at you excitedly and says, "Oh, thank you so much. I hope you have slain them all."
With help from the architecture, it would seem.
Okay, she looks at you quizzically and says, "I'm not going to explore that. Let's go. I can give you a lift up to the palace if you like. I see you've arrived on foot, unwisely."
Oh, of course. That would be...
Unwisely?
Be wonderful.
You have room for all of us.
Well, yeah, you know that the wagon itself is actually quite large. And by the way, it's not a creaky old crappy wagon. It's like a nice, beautiful, sort of well-carved, gilded wagon, like a... It is nice to look at.
Arriving in style, then. And I'll,
indeed.
Get in and plop myself down in the wagon and prepare another fresh cup of tea.
Lovely. Well, with that then, we cut to your grand entrance to the grand ball. So the Witch Queen's main hall. Okay, it's kind of like the main, think of it like it's the main entrance hall that also counts as kind of the ballroom, or at least it's being utilized for that purpose now. This is kind of the nexus, the main sort of central place for the party, although you can see branching off as you walk into the hallways on not exactly red carpet, but you can see that there are, an absolute plethora of just amazing folk from all over Mars. All the different species are represented here. Still predominantly red Martians, just because they're the most populous. But there's a wide variety of people from here, absolutely everywhere, all dressed resplendently. You think that while the common folk will be partying in the streets, this is mostly for the rich, powerful, and important people like yourself. So as you go in, no one checks you at the door or takes a ticket from you or anything like that. It's just kind of expected that nobody would dare come in here that was not welcomed and invited. And looking at the ambience and looking at the resplendent architecture, one thing about it also is that it's really cyclopean. Like everything's just way too big. Like the doorways, the stairs. It's actually a bit annoying getting up the stairs. They've actually had to sort of almost graft on little helper boxes to get, those of you who are less than 20 feet tall up the main stairs at least. There's a bit more leniency inside, but it is a sea of color. You can just see that. So first of all, umbrellas are still an aesthetic that dominates even though you're inside right now. There is a beautiful sort of Renaissance era orchestra, like, just typical classical music playing there. Like it's a full orchestra basically, and the music is, you think, magically augmented because it sort of hauntingly emanates and seems to come from everywhere at once and is just kind of just exactly the right volume. You don't think that getting closer to the orchestra would make it louder. Strangely, there's a strange magical effect. Or maybe it's just the acoustics of this really weird place. There is clearly a room to the right in which you can see is basically a creme room. And creme is the notable drug of Mars and is typically smoked, oftentimes through a hookah. And so effectively what you have is a beautiful, luxurious looking hookah den. There's one alcove, and I say alcove, but it's still, a good 60 meters across type thing. And then to the left, you can see there's sort of a quieter room, which leads out probably to a balcony because you can hear rain to the left and right. And basically there's just all kinds of people around. There's lots of cushions, lots of silken cushions with people sort of reclining, Roman ancient Greek style, as well as standing up and talking excitedly. It's a weird mix of basically, as you would imagine, like a decadent ancient Roman feast, something that Nero would throw, but also a sort of a fancy, snooty Bridgerton ball gala. It's like Downton Abbey meets ancient Rome in a weird way. But that's mostly what you see. You can see that there are a couple of little things going on, but the thing that draws your eye more than anything else is the line of people who are in front of the main event, the Witch Queen herself. So she is in the dark center of this thing. She is as mentioned, giant woman. She is real big. She's like 18 feet tall. It's hard to tell because she's reclining on this strange, it's like somewhere between a Roman recliner and a throne. It's like a throne that you lie down on as opposed to sit up on. And she's got green skin and is incredibly curvaceous and muscular, while also being 18 foot tall. So she's, just enormous. She's got raven black hair and has got a sort of strange outfit, which is a combination of, aesthetically sort of would be a mishmash of many real world cultures, but it's lots of silken robes and bits of armor and jewelry. And she looks bored and she has people presenting things to her. To the left, you can see there's a big pile of probably soon to be discarded gifts. You can see that there is a six-legged blue furred lizard that is like the size of a Bengal tiger that is being presented on a golden chain. And she at least raises an eyebrow to that one and then just kind of gives like just the barest little, all right, yep, and then moves on. So looking at all these things, obviously you've got Namada, who just kind of looks at a little serpent and then looks up at everything else. And, you can see that she sort of sighs. What do you do? No one has come to meet you, but there's lots of things happening.
What's the protocol on this type of thing? I mean, we've been invited to present some sort of tale of daring do. Is that something that we do here first?
Well, here's the thing. You actually don't know. You've never been here before. You have no idea what the protocol would be. It's a very unusual setup.
Then I'm looking over to Violet, who's going to be a little bit more au fait in this type of environment. What do we do now?
So what do we do now? Is there would there be anything that I would be familiar with for any sort of protocol? You know what?
I think in fact, yes. I think that just generally looking at your character's intelligence, because you would have read ahead, to sort of most fortuitously aid you in whatever you're going to be doing here. So you would know that the best thing to do would be to, if you're brave enough, potentially approach even Meridi, the Velvet Voice, the spokesperson of Yozora, the high priest, so to speak, or maybe one of the lesser Daughters of the Mask, where, by the way, these resplendently long black robed priestesses that are kind of sitting around the throne. Each of them has got a completely face covering mask, which is basically that serpent, that sort of aquatic serpent look. So yeah, if you were bold enough, you would approach Meridi herself, or you could approach one of the lesser Daughters of the Mask if you didn't want to overstep.
I am going to approach the voice.
Okay.
I'll join.
Nice. So the two of you go to walk up that way. Lovely. Can I ask, Trista and Zhao, what are you wearing? Bearing in mind that if you brought any clothes for the actual ball, you would have had ample opportunity after your journey just before entering here when we cut past it, but you could have had a costume change. And if so, have you? And can you describe them, please?
Yeah, would you like to go first?
Okay. So basically, for the whole way here, it's been this montage of Zhao just going, meow, because her doublet has been covered in viscera and, well, now blood, and just she's been just trying to, walking alongside the cart. She's kind of hung her jacket up onto the cart, trying to clean it off. Why is it not coming off? And just it's been like from there to the stairs to the hall. It's just been this kind of slow realization that this isn't happening right now. And as a traveler, she doesn't have very many other things. The other thing she has is a cape that she usually wears over one shoulder, and she's kind of got that to kind of hide it.
That's cool.
Please ignore the blood.
Lovely. And Alexis, what is Trista wearing?
So I will have removed my burnous and used it to scrub myself, and kind of an outer kind of shirt that I would have had on and changed. So I've removed my dusty chaps and have a tight pair of leather leggings. And then I have a loose silk blouse that's very brightly colored to match what the umbrellas seem to have. So it's got this funky floral pattern, kind of Hawaiian shirt-esque, comes down three-quarters sleeve. And then I have a tight-fitting brocade vest that's kind of holding a couple magazines discreetly. And I still have my pistol attached at my belt or at my hip.
That's amazing. That's really cool. And that definitely wins, because I've rolled a very fun little random encounter here. So a gentleman, a tall, broad-shouldered, lean gentleman who was wearing an almost identical outfit, complete with the Hawaiian blouse, just walks up to you, hand on the rapier on his hip, and he looks angry. He's just a red Martian, fine features, handsome fellow, if he wasn't so sneering, wanders over and just sort of says, "No, one of us is going to have to go home and change, and guess what? It's you. I've been here longer. I was here first. Kindly depart."
Right. You think that's going to happen. And I reach kind of into my my blouse, and I pull out the corners of my burnous that's absolutely sopping with gore and blood. And I'm like, I think maybe you're going to go change.
Okay, interesting. So he just locks eyes and just sort of says, I murdered 7 people on the way here, and that's only because they didn't polish my shoes properly or outfit my belt correctly. What do you think I'll do to somebody that I truly dislike and am not currently paying?
Right. And on the way here, the walls of this village murdered people on my behalf.
Yes, okay. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, see, he pauses for a second and then says, well then, I suggest then that we settle this with a duel. And then I will have an extra tale to tell the Witch Queen. What say you?
So you're going to duel me at 5 paces with that? And I kind of just nonchalantly like my hand dismissively at his rapier.
He says, yeah, okay. So he looks at you. So he looks to your firearm and says, hey, Chris. And so, he says, allow me to get a second. It's like, it is to be pistols then? Done. One moment. And he runs off. So you can wait there, or you can just kind of hang around.
If I may wander over, I figured whilst all this has been going on, I've just kind of been wandering about, sampling the food and things along those lines. I'm gonna wander over. You okay?
Yeah, palace intrigue and, all of that stuff. I have a duel in just a moment. It'll be fine.
With the man that was wearing your clothes?
Yeah, the man that is visibly obnoxious, yes.
Great. Violet and Ocheka, you are approaching Meridi.
Yep.
So, as you walk up to her, she looks at you and so Meridi is a beautiful androgynous figure, short black hair, green skin, similar to the Witch Queen. And you notice actually that there are a couple of people who look to be like red Martians, but they've actually got very sort of, verdant green skin for some reason. It's a strange fact you hadn't noticed before. Meridi is wearing the black robes and the mask, although the mask in Zer case is just kind of like hanging from Zer belt, just off the face, so that they can look and speak properly. And basically, Meridi just kind of looks to you very carefully and calmly. You can see a very, very keen intelligence in Meridi's eyes. So as the two of you, Ocheka, are you coming over with Violet, or is Violet ahead? It sounds like you might have gone back to, or is this previously? It is the two of you.
I had thought that I was joining Violet.
Oh, I am so sorry. That is entirely my fault. That was Arlo, not Ocheka. Pardon me. So Arlo and Violet, the two of you approach. Meridi gives you just the slightest inclination of the head and says, greetings. It is a pleasure to meet you.
The honor is ours.
Yes.
I'm looking over at Violet, just seeing how are you presenting at the moment? Confident or nervous?
So she is extremely confident.
Excellent.
She is turning on all of her charm, and her ultimate goal is to either seduce Meridi at some point or catch the attention of somebody else that is equally as powerful.
Splendid.
So it sounds like we might want to wingman my way with.
That's great. So I like it. Okay, that's amazing. So Meridi, but we'll give you a chance to say something. So Meridi says yes, and looking to both of you says, "To what do you owe the honor?"
Do you want to take this one, Violet?
Yeah. We have been invited here to tell tales of our deeds and stories of all of the great things that we have done. And we wanted to personally thank you for your hospitality and for everything that the city has done for us so far.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Mm.
You may give me a roll. A first impressions roll. Let's do that.
Awesome. So
whatever you can justify for that one.
I'm going to do for love and cunning. I am going to use seduction.
Of course.
And I am actually going to throw in the windfall dice that you gave me.
Absolutely. Please do. And it sounds like, before you roll, it sounds like Arlo is helping, or definitely is helping. Arlo, what dice are you adding into this first impressions roll with your assistance?
Okay. So you're presenting as confident, but you're also presenting as mysterious and alluring by the sounds of this one?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. I would like to further add to the mysteriousness of your allure. So to that end, I think what I'm going to do is, do you have, let me think. Do you have anything on you on your outfit at the moment that might be, I don't know, particularly eye-catching?
So Violet's outfit would actually be sewn with little tiny beads of all of the constellations of Zodiac.
Excellent.
So that would be over the city on the day that she was born.
Very cool. All right. I would like to use a little bit of my telekinesis. This is going to be a bit more of a miscellaneous thing unless you want me to exert career. And what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of a ripple effect to the constellations, causing them to kind of come together and separate, catch the light of the room, and generally add overall to the allure. I'm going to be pretty subtle about doing this, though.
That is so cool. I just want that. I want to allow that completely and utterly in every way measurable. So what does that translate to as a die type?
Let's say I can either go with cunning or with grace. I think actually with grace, given the subtlety of what I'm trying to employ here.
They're all involved. So it's the highest dice. So if you think of it like, if you were doing this yourself and using all the dice that you would be using if you were to make a basic roll, whatever the highest one is. So it's
then in that case we might go with it will be full love with cunning. Okay. So I'm doing this as an act of enticement.
Great. And is it a D10?
Yes.
Great. Sorry. Yeah. So Violet, that's a D10 to add.
And so as he does this, I'm going to tell Meridi that I have a lot of other talents that I can offer, and that sometimes they can even be fortuitous.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay. I got a 16.
Wow. Okay. So this is a really good time to bring up the new mechanic that is introduced in this adventure, which is called Bond. So just to lay it on the table, your characters, of course, would have no idea of this. This is a very meta thing. But the relationship that you build with both Yazora and Meridi is actually quite central to this adventure. And so you'll have the opportunities to mechanically earn bond. And there are many systems that have got a bond mechanic. This is no different. The way this one works is you accumulate X number of points in a bond between Yazora and Meridi. It can be positive or negative. In this case, it's going to be positive, and you are going to earn, I'm going to say 2 points. Just actually, no, that's a 16. 3 points. You have a 3-point bond currently with Meridi, and that translates to a D6. So just so you're aware, awesome. Once it gets to 5, it's a D10, or 4, it's a D8, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure you can work that out. But yeah, so to translate though, she just like looks you up and down, and you can see an amorous expression wash over Meridi's face, but then they keep it in check and just kind of pull back and, well, let us hope so. let us hope that you do not disappoint. Fine words are one thing, and it is not me overall that you have to impress, she says, turning to look at Yuzora, who, but then she kind of like lowers her voice a little bit and says, but you have, of course. You have. And we cut now back to Trista, who is, I guess, and Ocheka, and Zhao. Zhao, you're still sort of hanging back with these two as well?
Yeah, I've kind of wandered over, just hearing this sort of, one of us has to go home change. No, screw you, dual time.
That's great. That's
just
awesome.
Kind of wandering over with the hammer, just going, so I heard there was a duel.
Yeah, you know what? I have never been to a party at a palace where I gotta get in a fight. So this is actually like probably gonna be one of my top on the list. So I'm excited.
Like some sort of list that you would do before, I don't know, you die or something.
Well, I don't generally die during duels. I'm pretty good.
That's fair.
I told you this was going to be a fun trip, and you were concerned that we were going to be bored and sitting around just enjoying fine foods. I just kind of grabbed something from a passing plate. And listening to music and engaging in decadent. You've got this, right? Do you need anything?
Do you need a second? I could be your second.
Yes, she could be your second.
Right.
From what I understand, the second would be basically the person that you would send to the other person's second to kind of, work things out before it gets to this level.
Oftentimes.
Oh, but
Sometimes.
that works on the assumption that I want to work this out before it gets to the duel.
Well, that's true.
It works on the
That is
assumption
true.
that
We've also got to this level.
Why do you want to shoot this man so badly?
Because this is a boring place to be, and shooting people is fun.
That's fair. All right. I ask a stupid question. Yes.
All right. First of all, everyone has role played so much to my amusement. You've all earned a drama point at least. I'm going to be conservative and give you one, but really you've all earned more individually. So go ahead and add one. I will say, Trista, that you notice that this jerk went away and approached a very tall woman, a very tall red Martian in the corner, and she looks elderly. She has like long gray hair. Her black hair has gone almost white, actually. She looks to be like sort of in her late 70s, but still a formidable and intimidating looking woman who's wearing one of the least fancy outfits that you've seen in this entire place, which is a large, long, basically think of it like a Renaissance era cowboy duster, like a duster coat, like leather, like long leather coat. She has a tall, wide brimmed hat, also brown leather, weather worn. And she's just kind of sitting there smoking what looks to be a long, thin cigar. And she has a las pistol, very fancy looking las pistol at her side. So he wanders over to her and talks, and she just kind of like looks him up and down and shakes her head. And he, seems frustrated and holds up a whole bunch of money, or what looks to be glowing obsidian chits, like they're radioactive, like they actually glow blue. And she looks at them and looks at him, and once again shakes her head, and then just gives the, buzz off gesture. And he looks disgruntled, and then wanders over to another gentleman who is also, carrying a pair of las pistols, one on each hip. He's a short, stocky fellow with a big, thick beard, also a red Martian, who honestly looks like a dwarf. He's very short, very, very stocky, very, very muscular, big, thick beard, braided. And he clearly makes an offer to him as well. And this fellow graciously accepts, and then just, holds out his hands, gets full of coin, and then the two of them go to walk back to you. So as you approach, he seems quite excited. And
Before while they're walking back to me,
Uh-huh.
I like look and make eye contact. And then I get one of the serving people to go and buy the elderly woman a drink.
Okay, great.
To
Done.
bring her a drink. Just be like, she had the right idea.
Indeed. So that happens. The servant just so the servant is a short, slender young woman with very, very close cropped, like almost like a crew cut, basically, just wearing like the black robes that the servants all wear here. And she says, do I have to? That one has made it perfectly clear that she's not exactly the most approachable. Is there any way that I could not bring her a drink? I'm so sorry, my lady.
So this tall woman, you think she's unapproachable?
She yelled at me when I tried to bring her a snack before.
Well, obviously you don't know how to approach her. And I grab a drink off of her tray and walk over to the woman who declined the duel.
Okay. So you go to wander over. Meanwhile, these two numpties are making their way over to you. So he very excitedly looks to you and says, well, I have a second who will match you in pistoleering. However, I very much want to get my hands dirty. My bloodlust is not yet sated this day. I notice that you have a second who seems to wield weapons of the more melee variety. I offer a duel. If you and your soon-to-be-dead companion are up for it.
I'm pretty sure she'd happily put a hammer through your head.
Now just chuckles.
Yeah. There's a lot of chuckling on both sides. You both just sort of sit there, both. It's a chuckle off for now. But no, so do you accept?
See.
Okay, fantastic. He says, well, then shall we take this somewhere more private, perhaps out to one of the more reclusive balconies? Follow me. Ocheka.
Yes.
So you see that he's gesturing from a distance, obviously, and asking to be led out to the balcony and so forth, which is a bit weird. But you approach this one. So she is like 6'4" and very, very lean. She looks, once again, she's got an elderly face, which is also just very, very weather worn. You certainly don't think that she's a native of this labyrinth. She has clearly had too much time outdoors in the sun. And she looks at you with almost like a predatory bird glare and says, and just sort of takes your measure as you approach. Are you approaching warmly, like with a smile, or are you sort of coming forward with business?
Absolutely, big warm smile. I'm seeing Ocheka as like the pre-digital replacement Jabba the Hutt from New Hope. Han, my boy, yeah, like that kind of.
Yeah,
probably wearing several layers of finery on top of finery.
Great.
Just too big for the room, sort of a smile as I walk over with a glass in my hand, and say, my associate wanted to provide this to you as a thank you for displaying the good sense not to get into a fight for that fool.
Okay, so she looks to you and says, well, and takes a puff of her cigar. I don't throw heels for anybody that isn't worth my skills being employed. I took one look at that tepid drink of water, and I knew that anything he had to offer was going to be less than worth my time. You notice that while this has been happening, your conversation is being observed by a very large and muscular pale Martian, this huge dude. All four of his arms are like Schwarzenegger size, and he's got like bladed weaponry on his resplendent thing. He's kind of giving her a death stare, and you as well, like just kind of, obviously the two intimidating people in the room kind of sizing each other up. And she just like holds a finger up to you for a second and turns to look at him and says, you would not want to be looking like that at me.
How does he react?
He fucks off. He just, suddenly becomes very, very interested in a crack on the wall and turns and leaves completely.
You have quite a way with people.
My services are not for hire here. I came here to try to relax.
I didn't come here to try to hire you. Would you care for this drink? Or
okay, she looks at the drink.
Keep holding it.
She takes the drink and says, well, now, that's something I'm more amenable to. And just takes it and takes a sip. It's like, you have manners. I like you already.
Well, thank you. I like to think that I have learned a thing or two about keeping my feet away from my mouth. What you say you're here to relax? What type of things do you fill your time with? What is so stressful that you need to escape from?
My name is Valene Resenta. I am the greatest pistolier duelist that this world or any other has ever seen.
Well, then it's quite fortunate that you turned down that tepid drink of water, was it? Because I would hate to have my dear companion shot to death by the greatest pistolier in any world.
Well, the night is still young. I will see how this performance unfolds. Maybe I will find a challenge. I said to myself I would try very hard to find something of interest with regards to my dueling skills here.
Well, you did mention wanting to relax, so if there's any way that I could facilitate that, I am a person who purveys various goods, many of them mundane, some of them martial, and of course a fair bit of recreational. So if there's anything that I can do to facilitate that relaxation and ensure that you have a pleasant time, please do not hesitate to ask.
Ocheka, are you hitting on female Clint Eastwood?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Can you give me a seduction roll, please?
Yes, I am doing this for self because I am in fact a selfish person. I am doing this with cunning because I am way out of my league and I know it. And I'm hoping that my knowledge of wares as a merchant is able to impress this beautiful woman.
I would say so. Please.
And I'm going to go ahead and spend a drama point so that I can add all the dice together, if that's all right with you. So,
well, you don't have to declare ahead of time. You can see what you roll, and then if you want to spend a drama point to add, you can certainly do so.
I mean, I do because I want to knock her socks off, obviously.
Right, of course, yeah.
So that will be a 19.
Okay, so she looks you up and down with a barely contained lustful gaze and says, "We should find somewhere quiet where we can relax together at a certain point. But for now, young man, I'd like to observe how this ballet of death unfolds."
Oh, of course. I'm gonna go do some stretches and get an energy drink. I'll be right back.
Carve up, son. Carve up. So we cut to Violet. Now you are noticing that this supposedly, assuming they go along with what these two idiots want, they're going to take this duel away from, the main thoroughfare, out somewhere private, etc. Whereas you probably have some good confidence in your companions, and that of all things that the Witch Queen would be impressed by, perhaps even as a precursor to your actual tale, would definitely be seeing a duel successfully fought in front of her. You know for a fact that this would be exactly the kind of thing that would actually perhaps entertain her if you wanted to try to guide things or make that proposal to the others.
I would definitely try to MC this.
Oh, perfect. I love this. Go ahead, please.
All right. So I am going to turn to Meridi and whoever else is here and say, one of my companions has just entered into a duel, and I will start to hype Trista up, like really like selling some of the stuff that I've seen her do, some of the foes that she vanquished on her own, and including what just happened in the alleyway to save the gift that was given to Meridi from Namada.
That is amazing. I love everything about this. Would you please give me a hype man roll? Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna go all Don King on this for a second.
Absolutely.
Splendid.
We're gonna do this with honor.
Okay. Yes, of course.
And definitely with cunning, because I'm trying to weave in a whole bunch of different tales to kind of fit the narrative. Would I be able to use lawyer to kind of
100% you can use lawyer.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna throw that in there. Oops, wrong dice. Okay. There we go. There's my dice. All right. $11.
Wow, good. Very, very good. So Meridi says, all right, we have not had any violence today yet, and that is something that my queen desires very much and enjoys. Tales of warfare. You see, she was not just a queen in her homeland. She was a warlord, a warrior queen. So, yes, I will say, I will make the entrance. I will set it up. Please assure me that your friends will not disappoint. This will affect badly on me if I talk this up and it is less than spectacular.
I give you my absolute assurance that my companions will not disappoint. And should even a smidgen of disappointment grace that wonderful face of yours, I will owe you a debt.
That's okay. In that case, Z nods and says, then it shall be done. Your face also, not bad. And like turns, wanders over to approach Yazora herself. So we cut back now. Of course, one thing, Violet, is you'll need to convince. Well, I mean, the idea to take it out onto the balconies very much seems to be these idiots' idea, and you know your companions may require convincing to put it all on the line and do it in front of. Although I guess if they lose, they're dead anyway. So you know, but there you go. So we'll say you approach your companions now to make the offer and explain the situation to them.
Absolutely.
Ocheka, you see this as well, of course, and can choose to join the group as well. And Arlo, obviously.
I've got something else in mind. Sorry, Travis, you go first.
Oh, I was going to make my way over to Arlo, actually.
Okay.
Great.
And just suggest that if things start looking dire, perhaps you can slow the movement of the opponent. You know, if their pistol were to get stuck in its holster, it would be a grand tragedy.
You don't have much faith in your bodyguard?
I don't have faith in anything,
but
I don't have faith in anything, but I do believe in assuring that a deal is pursued in the most advantageous way as possible. I see no reason not to leverage an asset that we have. Your ability is an asset, and I would like to leverage it.
Sounds like you're making me an offer. I'll tell you what then. Then I tell you what. As a merchant, I'll exchange a favor for a favor.
Sure.
I'll take a look at your bodyguard and ensure that Trista's aim is true, though I have no reason to think that won't be the case. But I would like your practiced mercantile eye to take a look at the assortment of gifts that the Witch Queen has taken a look at and otherwise discarded. Because I think there may be an opportunity there to take up some of the spoils.
Oh, absolutely. Happy to do so. For clarification, I don't wish you to interfere with Trista at all. I have nothing but the utmost confidence in her ability. But if her opponent were to, say, fumble their weapon and look the fool, all the better for us.
He doesn't need much help in that regard, but I'll lend what assistance I can.
No, but let's put on a show.
Well, that's the thing, and you bring up a very good point. Whatever, don't forget, this isn't now is not just about winning. This is about, putting on a show. This has gone from boxing to pro wrestling, right? This is all about, not just what you do, but how. So let's take it really quickly then to. Oh, sorry, Ben. You said you had another thing you were going to do, or was that?
Actually, I think I've kind of outsourced that now to a checker. So initially, I was going to take advantage of the voice being otherwise engaged to take a look at what spells were available. This is with a view to potentially taking something of value further down the track. But I'll have a checker take a look and see if we can find something that's like valuable and portable. And I'm going to join Violet as she attempts to try to hype this up further and coerce our companions.
So I want to take this opportunity while they're kind of figuring this out to kind of take a peek into the future.
Ooh, please.
And I am going to is there would I be able to get a coin from here that might have the seal on it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely.
I'm going to focus on that because I actually want to use this to tie into the story that I'm going to tell.
Ooh, lovely.
And I want to see what would the future hold as far as making this duel similar to something that has been told in Tales and Legends.
Oh, that's a really cool idea. I love that.
Yes.
Awesome.
So that would be what I want to do. And I am going to do that.
Splendid. Well, we'll convince your companions and these idiots to agree to the whole thing. But then keep that in mind. That's absolutely what we'll roll when we get to the actual event itself, for sure. I love that. So Violet, we'll stick with you as you make your way over to Trista and Zhao. And so what's your as I assume Trista and Zhao, you're just kind of going along with murdering these idiots on the balcony for now. So,
all right. I am in the middle of a negotiation here for many different things. And it may involve you having to murder that fool in front of the queen.
So no first blood. Wow.
She is apparently a warlord and likes violence.
This party is getting so much better by the minute. Excellent. All right. So we're going to make a show of it?
I am going to help as best as I can.
All right.
I say, can we move this along? Chop, chop, he says, while, sort of holding back the curtain that leads to this quiet little rain-soaked balcony.
Do we know also need a venue change, Violet?
Yes. Have we been told where the new venue is?
In front of her, in front of her throne, in this ballroom.
Okay, I will go up to him with all confidence and say, Sir, you're actually in the wrong part for the duel. You're actually going to go all the way up there, and I'm going to point to the queen.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try to make him feel really embarrassed.
Uh-huh. Okay, good. Give me an embarrassment roll.
Yeah. This is totally for self. I am totally doing this.
Give me a he doesn't even go here roll.
And I'm definitely going to use cunning with this.
Oh, and also just to bring in Zhao and Trista as well.
Yeah.
You two can help out in this in any way. By the way, you can just mock him or just look intimidating and all that kind. Please help. And actually, well, before you make the roll, Violet, Zhao and Trista, how would you like to help Violet convince these idiots to actually move over to the throne? Because it looks like they're a little hesitant right now.
I just say, Sir McDerp, you're going the wrong way. We're wanted over there.
Hey, humiliation is that way. Your defeat is that way.
That's amazing.
You're now a headlining
Come
ticket.
get spanked. Come get spanked.
All right. So first of all, thank you for adding McDerp to my lexicon. That's amazing. I'm taking that right now. So yeah, you two tell what the highest dice you have that can possibly help Viola do this.
Look, for my self-gratification. I feel proud of myself for mocking him so much.
Yeah, personal pride thing. And so yourself is a D10?
Yes.
All right.
So Violet, you'll be adding a D10. Perfect. And Trista, what's your highest dice?
My highest dice is a D10.
Okay.
We'll go with force because I'm humiliating while flexing.
He's like, I'm sorry, the duel is that way.
That way.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so great. Oh, I love this. Okay, so obviously, yes, an extra 2d10 for your trouble there, Violet.
Awesome. I got a 16.
Wow. Okay.
I'm rolling really well tonight.
Okay. You know what? I will actually add that as a windfall to both Zhao and Trista, because this is so mocking and so dismissive and so intimidating that both of your opponents are actually going to be a little bit on the back foot. They're just going to be like, that's fine, I knew it was over there, and really just, not in their best confident selves. So both of you will have an extra D4 that you'll be able to employ at any point, in the future relating to this duel. So they begrudgingly agree. And then, of course, he sort of puffs out his chest and says, let's get this over and done with. I've got possibly more people to murder this evening. Come on.
Tom,
yes.
As they're moving, and they've moved from a pretty advantageous position on the balcony with what I can only imagine is a lot of neighboring buildings with ambushing perspectives.
Yes.
I would like to use dowsing to try and identify firearms within that area to see if there's A, anyone there, and B, are they on the move to get within proximity.
Would you please stop looking at my fucking notes? Because yes.
Playing a psychic character hits them.
Clearly. All kidding aside, 100%. The reason he wanted the dark, rain, noisy balcony was he has a sniper. He has a perched on the building who you can now sense is kind of like, oh, fucking,
he's moved to another vantage point.
Taken the long way around to get to a different position, you presume.
But he could get a line of sight on either Trista or Zhao.
Oh, yeah,
by the
for
sense
sure.
of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a bit of pomp and fare before the duel begins, so that's enough time for this guy to he'll be exhausted now by the time he gets here. But
okay, that's brilliant. I'm going to be essentially clocking wherever it is that he ends up, listening to the rhythms of the Martian winds as they track this guy's hurried pace as his breath starts to level out, as he starts to slow his heart rate so that he can draw the shot. I will know exactly where he is, and then let me know when it comes up to something with him.
First of all, I love all of that. Thank you. And yeah, 100%, I will do that for sure. And good thinking. Everybody get yet another drama point.
Woohoo! Whilst all that's going on, just one thing I wanted to do real quick.
Yes.
Was if I could exert my merchant career to use my appraisal feature, so that I can find the most valuable item among the discarded gifts, the things that that Arlo had asked me to look over. I wanted to kind of just be able to say, like, this is, if you're going to grab something, this is what you grab.
Very good.
That is absolutely perfect. So yeah, and there's no roll with that. Is that correct? It's just
I just exert, so that drops my merchant career down to a D4 for the remainder of the night. But I just know what the price is.
So you see that there is something that meets that description perfectly. It is an almost priceless artifact, a strange and unique artifact from the first Martians, a ghost catcher. It is a beautifully carved thing that looks like a crystalline lamp, in the middle of which, rather than having a flame in the middle, there is a sapphire, like this long, elongated, beautifully carved sapphire. And even trapped within the lamp itself, you can see that there is about 8 or 9 ghosts. I mean, just, spirits, apparitions, souls of people departed, trapped in this device. And they that these were typically done for a couple of reasons. One was for safety, to as a ghost removal, but also they can be called, typically people that were ghosts, I should say, that were trapped in here were trapped for a reason. Like they could be people who had great knowledge, or maybe they were just really great singers. And so, can perform for people, poets, historians, scholars, etc., etc. So, yeah, it would not be easy to put a price on this. It is unquestionably valuable, and as luck would have it, only about the size of a lamp, so very portable as well.
Excellent.
I will make Arlo aware of that, its location. If I can clock like anybody that might be looking at it, and the easiest means of egress to get from where it is at to a nearby exit.
So the real problem you have here is the Daughters of the Mask, for they are not to be fucked with, and there is a good dozen of them around the throne in general. And in fact, looking over the priceless, or in some cases priceless gifts, you can see that there is 6 that are particularly sharp-eyed and potent-looking, armed with all manner of really quite expensive-looking weaponry, both las pistols and cutlasses, rapiers, etc. So
I'll make sure to give Arlo the full layout and consider my services rendered, because I'm not about to try to steal that shit.
I mean, honestly, that's great. There's no barrier whatsoever. It is just their watchful gaze that is the deterrent here. So, gosh, one would need a really big distraction in order to turn that away for sure. But yes, do Zhao and Trista have anything to say to each other before your tag team match, so to speak?
You've got this. You're good.
I've got this.
Okay.
How about you?
Give her a little punch on the shoulder. Let's do this.
All right.
I would like to approach Trista before she goes out to fight. I just want you to know, if you get yourself killed, I'm going to dock your pay. And I pat her on the shoulder and walk away.
And you would. All right.
Don't listen to him.
So now I am assuming that because I'm expecting to be doing like a pistol duel, like the Western style, and then I don't know how Zhao. Are you going to step up and do your thing after the pistol duel, or?
No, it'll be a 2-on-2, two of you doing the pistol duel, two of you sword fighting at the same time.
At the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool. but no, so that's the idea. The idea is that it will be simultaneous. Yeah.
Okay.
So here we go. Clearly, the the offer has been made to Yazora, and Yazora is very, very on board. She even, and this is a real big deal, she even slightly sits up. Like not a lot, but you know, the anticipation is there. She raises up on her shoulder and, you know, just kind of sits there stroking her magnificent chin while you assemble. A hush goes through the room. The crowd parts and creates enough space. People are very clear to leave openings on either side before, obviously, the bullets or the laser beams. I'm actually trying to. We should decide as a group, how do las pistols actually? Are they like? Do they look like flintlocks but they shoot laser beams, or I don't know.
I
Like, what's the deal?
imagine they have like a vertically oriented like double barrel, and the laser comes out of the top barrel, and the bottom barrel is just like slightly angled so that the laser kind of like starts like melting through the flesh, and then the bullet actually carries forth just like a little bit later, and then they like meet at the point of contact and
That's amazing. Well, that's my headcanon now for sure. Obviously, you know, others can disagree, but that's awesome. I love that. So, Violet, the crowd goes silent. Yazora looks to you with just a utterly imperious glare, but it's not hostile. It's just like, this better be worth it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Let us begin the show.
So I am going to introduce the duel by kind of tying in how this has been tradition for many, many different civilizations, and that this has carried forth through Mars and to current day, and how this is a time honored and a great honor for everybody to be doing this in front of such a magnificently beautiful and terrifying queen.
That's great. That is awesome.
And I'm going to try to weave in some key words for Trista and Zhao to kind of pick up on what they need to do to accomplish and succeed.
That's amazing. No, I love that. I love that for sure. Please give me a roll to.
I'm going to expend my career for my foreordained.
Ooh, okay.
For that.
Describe how that works.
So foreordained allows me to. Let me pull it up real quick.
That's okay. Take your time.
Where did it go? There it is. Foreordained allows me to gain a piece of information pertaining to the plot, and specifically what action to take next or how to solve the problem.
Okay. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Fantastic. And there's no role required. It's just, you just get that piece of knowledge. Is that correct?
Yep.
Lovely. Okay. Excellent. So you know for a fact then that Yazora will not want this to end in anything other than death. So if either Trista or Zhao and honestly would want it to be as violent and bloody as possible. So a show of skill is amazing, and that's definitely what she wants. But she also definitely wants a gruesome demise on whoever wins. You know, that would be the thing that would impress her and delight her the most.
So when I hit those key words while I'm speaking, I'm going to make eye contact with both of them.
Great.
As
That's
kind of
perfect.
hopefully, I'm assuming we've traveled enough where they might be able to pick up on what I'm doing.
I will 100% think so. Yeah, 100%. That's great. All right, then. Now, sorry, do we give a pageantry roll or no?
I can do that though.
Yeah,
I can totally do that.
I mean, that's the effect. You definitely get that. But now let's do it. Let's see how let's see how impressed everyone is going to be at your at your story.
All right, I'm going to do for honor.
Yep.
And with cunning.
Of course, that makes sense. Any other traits you can throw in there?
I
think noble, definitely. This is public speaking to a bunch of wealthy noble individuals.
I will definitely. Oh, and it has to do with Zhao.
Oh, yeah, both of those, 100%.
So, all right.
It's a lot of dice.
Let's see here. 14.
Nice. Yeah, your words are very captivating and impressive. You can see now, actually, based on what you've said, that a few people in the crowd are starting to, place bets. So there's a whole bunch of like, yep, okay, all right, fine, yep, that's good, let's do that. Whereas others are just like silent and just standing and just in anticipation, as it's everyone like you can cut the tension with a knife right now. Before we begin the duel, which is the next step, of course, did we want to have a short bio break? Is that something anyone wants to? I'm not sure how you wanted to do it, Travis. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to. I haven't.
Oh, you're totally fine. Obviously we were all sort of gripped by the story. Let's take 5, and then we'll come back and button up the duel. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Whilst we are taking our quick break, I just want to make sure to remind everybody to check out Cavaliers of Mars, both at Drive-Thru RPG, where the PDFs are currently 90% off. And over at Indie Press Revolution, you can get the traditionally printed beautiful volume like this one that I have right here for 50% off, I believe, right now. So it's a really good steal. We will be back momentarily. And while we are gone, enjoy these messages.
The latest Onyx Path double feature. They came from the Cyclops' cave, and they came from Classified.
New from Onyx Path Publishing. They came from the Cyclops' cave. Experience fantasy, epic, and magical. Recreate the covers of other beloved role-playing games. But play this one. Use magical effects to disappear. Revel. Gallop and explode. Have you ever turned a tree into a man? Have you ever tied someone to a pillar while barbecuing a hand?
No, please stop. That's vile.
Play as fairies, giants, warriors, and wizards. But don't sleep through the action and the drama. Visit distant lands. Brush tiny people. Chart your own odyssey to faraway kingdoms. Grip your weapons like they've never been gripped before. They came from the Cyclops' cave, a game of cinematic fantasy inspired by all your favorite movies of fantasy cinema. New from Onyx Path Publishing, it's stylish. Ooh-yah! Oh, you wait till I get up, I'm gonna give you such a hiding, oh smacko! It's mysterious.
I say, this button wasn't here yesterday when I looked. What happens if I push it? Oh, luckily the bookcase only went and moved. I wonder what happens if I push a little further. What might I find behind? Oh my, it's cheeky. Course, sir, did you just see that silhouette we just emerged from? What? Oh yes, of course. It's deadly. It's risky. Very well rolled, sir, but you need to stop making that gesture. Yes, that one. The locals don't like it. It doesn't mean what you think. It's exotic. It's villainous. Yes, sculptures are villainous. What does this note even say? It's too dark to read it. What if I put it in the bug tank? No, still no luck. It's cloak and dagger. Oh, my lower back, not again. Oh, Zappo! This is for selling secrets to the enemy, you bloody bastard! Oh, it's super scientific. Oh no, not the doomsday device. These goggles are no help at all. At least leave the door open so we can escape. I don't think I will.
It's classified. They came from classified. They came from Classified, a game of cinematic espionage inspired by all your favorite spy movies and TV shows.
Thank you so much for hanging out. We have returned, and I will hand things back over to Tom. Thank you.
When last we left our intrepid adventurers, they were just about to have a grand 2-on-2 tag team duel in front of a 20-foot tall Venusian war queen who's green in a grand ball
Yes, you do.
with the guy in the background trying to steal a ghost lantern. So quite a resplendent scene. I mean, so the whole ballroom, by the way, is lit. And clearly this is not actually a ballroom. They just repurposed it for this. This is the entrance hall for the temple. So there's lots of beautiful tapestries that actually move. It's very Harry Potter-like, where, you know, the actual depictions on the tapestries are all have these sort of almost sort of like GIF, like, you know, repeatable animations that go on and such. And all the light is coming from insects, every single one. Like there's just glowing fireflies of various colors move around the place. So, or at least you think they're insects, because you know, they could in fact be, you know, sort of small nano things. Who knows? But the important thing is that everything has gone silent while we sit there watching our two warriors. So if I can ask Trista and Zhao, what are you doing as your preparation?
Zhao, do you have any preparation that you're doing?
Oh, this is all bluster. Zhao is standing with Trista, just doing the long look up and down at our opponents and just saying, just basically doing the kind of movement, the kind of, it doesn't wear it nearly as nice as you do. You know, that sort of, you know, trying to psych him out of the other side. I just kind of a call at, hey, your kneecaps are mine.
Literally forget this was over a Hawaiian blouse, but sorry. How things have escalated.
And so Trista is gonna like take the like 4 steps back, so that I'm at the appropriate pistol duel distance, and I'm gonna turn sideways to my opponent so that there's not as much target area. I'm gonna just give him a good look in the eye, and then I'm gonna do a few quick draws, wing the gun around my finger a few times, put it back, quick draw.
Zhao kind of does the same thing, but it's a sort of, very looks across the way at McDurp, who's doing the melee portion, isn't he?
He is, and that's officially his name now is McDurp, by the way.
Excellent. So yeah, I'm looking at him across the way, and I'm sizing him up, and I'm lifting the hammer, and kind of aiming it, and just trying not to laugh.
That's awesome. I love that so much. And yeah, of course, your opponent Trista is also trying to do the Doc Holliday spinning. Like, oh yeah, well, what's this? And just not doing as good a job at all, by the way. I will say, just to bring it around, to involve all factors here, has Arlo told anyone, like even just Ocheka or about the impending sniper situation at all? Oh, Ben, you're muted, I think.
Yep. I believe you're muted.
Oh, still muted.
Uh-oh.
Dear. No.
Possible in the Zoom app itself, maybe?
Okay, so Ben has just messaged saying that he will sort things out, but he's not mentioning the sniper. Okay. No, that's just saying, might be something that may come up, but no, obviously not. Now, sorry, I have to ask you as well, though, Arlo, are you preparing to attempt to steal the Ghost Lantern when and if there is a big enough distraction? A thumbs up or down will do. Good. Yeah. All right. We'll get to that.
I will be prepared to run interference if I am a lot more concerned about what Arlo is going to do in the next 5 minutes than what Trista's going to do. I have faith in Trista's capabilities. I think Arlo could cause us some real problems. So I'm going to try to just be prepared to back Arlo's play, whatever that play is.
Right. So if he has to steal this damn thing, at least do it successfully and quietly. Okay, fantastic. Right. So in that case, I will say that we are getting up to the time when things are about to commence. So we will begin by Trista and Zhao, and of course McDurp and McNumpty rolling their dice. Just as a reminder, you've got 3. Allocate them however you wish.
Test. Okay.
Hey, there we go. Ben, Arlo. So while they're rolling, I will tell you the sniper has appeared. You are aware. On an upper balcony, you can see that there is a, broad hat, cloaked figure with a mask. A very sort of like Guy Fawkes mask. Looks very much like a Renaissance Italy assassin.
Yeah,
which is the style of the time. Holding forth what looks to be a las rifle.
Yep. All right. I want to kick. I want to let the duel run. I presume this guy's not going to fire unless things go hilariously wrong. But
That'd be your presumption, yes.
Yeah. So let's let them go underway. The moment that he starts to draw, squeeze the trigger, that's when I'm going to essentially use my telekinesis to try and drag him across from one building through the balcony, through the curtains, in front of everyone. And yeah, the reason I don't want to mention this to anyone is because you can't fake surprise reactions like that.
You can't. That is amazing. Okay, so if Zhao and Trista are all good to go, shall we begin the countdown? You're all ready? Okay, so.
Okay, so the very first thing that happens when the dual signal goes.
Yeah.
I would like to intervene.
Do it.
Okay. I would like to use drama points for a plot twist.
Ooh, yeah. Lay it on me.
Okay, so everybody in this room is holding their breath, just waiting to see the bloodbath that's about to ensue.
Yes, ma'am.
And from the stillness in the air just comes this shrill female voice. Father, you can't die today. I just eloped. And out runs this dwarvish young woman.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so that happens. She's like,
so she's the daughter of the duelist, the pistolier.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so McDub is just like, oh my gosh. Okay, so McDub is like, what? and it's just this absolute calamity. He's like, you did? I didn't. I mean, oh.
But it's been called, so we're counting down.
Oh yeah.
So we're dueling. He's distracted. Let's go.
Oh man, that is absolutely a win. I mean, a windfall for sure. So you can add an extra D4. You know what? Screw that. I'm going to make that an extra D6 that you can add just as a bonus. I know a windfall is a windfall, but we make the rules. So 10. Oh, hey, there we go.
Yep.
Starting high.
Stunt.
Stunt? Okay, great.
Yes.
Positive to you or negative to them?
Positive to me.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Actually, Travis or Crystal, do you know if you use a stunt? This is actually something I couldn't work out. If you, and it's probably my fault, it's very, very obvious, but if you use a stunt to increase the value of one of your like strike dice, do you kind of retroactively go at that order? Does that make sense? Like, does it mean that?
Yep. Yeah, you're basically sacking that die to kick your other die up. Would be
Awesome.
how I would.
Oh, okay.
Interpret that.
So bear that in mind, Sam. That if you're doing it to boost a strike dice that you have, any strike dice, it is higher 2 by 2, including if that would make it like 10 or whatever, and it's already gone. Speak now.
Okay, so it boosts the strike die?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So if you spend it to give yourself a benefit, it will increase by 2 any strike dice that you have in your little pool. So if that's the case.
That's fortuitous.
Yes.
Because the next one, so that brings my 9 on my strike dice up.
Great. And so in that case, then it takes effect now. And so, I mean, I assume you're striking against your opponent. Yep.
Excellent. So what I'll do is I bring the hammer down to I have a wide stance, bring the hammer down. And as I'm walking toward him and the pace picks up, and as that pace is picking up to a full-on run, I am cackling as I'm running at him. As I run at him and then be immediately offline, off the straight line that I'm heading toward him, to deliver the hammer right down the middle of him.
That's amazing. I want you to know I was tempted to make another hammer time joke and I didn't. I held back for you. I held back for all of you. So thank you. Anyway, so yeah, you smash him in the face. Like it doesn't necessarily kill him, although we'll see. But yeah, some teeth go flying out. One of them I think hits his daughter in the forehead, and no, sorry, that's the other fellow. That's the other. Well, still hits that fellow's daughter in the forehead. She's like, no, I've eloped. That's great. Splendid. Okay. So that is going to be then. Gosh, where was I? 9, 8.
8.
I have an 8. So, haha.
I have 2. I have 2 8s.
Oh, well, you know what? Let's do yours first. Are they strikes?
Yes, I rolled all strikes. So.
Oh, splendid. Okay, good. So in that case then, would you please, you're going to do both your strikes on this fellow.
Yep.
So both of them are going to hit.
Okay.
So describe how you give him 2 good solid shots.
So I imagine that he's like half drawn his pistol and then been like, what the heck, my daughter? And then just kind of like left it kind of like in midair. And so I'm going to take advantage of that and shoot right at his pistol hand and just explode his hand off.
Oh my gosh.
With my first shot. And then with my second shot, I'm going to shoot his knee out from under him so that he falls to his knee.
That's amazing. I love that. So yeah, it works exactly so. He just sort of bang, bang. And he falls down to it and he's like, ah! He picks up the bloodied pistol with his other hand, of course, because he's not out of the fight. So he can, why he would want to keep going, I've got no idea, but he does. Splendid. 7. Oh, sorry. And do you, pardon me, Trista, do you have a parry?
Do I have a parry?
All strikes.
Right, I did all strikes. Yeah.
Okay. Would you please take a strain as somehow, as this happens, possibly even not through his action, but just through the way that the gun lands on the ground, you have to kind of like take a jump step back. You're not necessarily hurt, but you're going to take a point of strain just because, you have to exert yourself to dodge out of the way of this random laser fire. So now 7.
I would just like to shout, hey, you look like Peter, the guy that played RoboCop a little bit.
Good. Sorry. 6. This is a serious duel, people. People are dying. So 6. I have a 6 if no one else does. So that is going to be poor Zhao. Do you have a parry, Zhao?
I do, yes.
Oh, great. What is your parry value?
My parry is at 2.
Okay, so you are hit. So remove your parry die as this fellow draws out his rapier and still like massaging his jaw from when you knocked the taste out of his mouth. He is going to do just the opposite of your fighting style. Just do like a little ha 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 dodge parry first and just try to just like sticks you in the thigh, but not really. Like you've done worse than this to yourself on a night of heavy drinking. But you do take 1 point of strain. 5. 4.
That's me.
Oh, there we go. What's happening?
That's going to be my final shot. I'm going to take 3 steps forward and get him right in between the eyes.
Absolutely. Okay, then. So that is going to be definitely another hit. And he's going to take that strain. And actually, yeah, we'll see. He's not looking good at all in the least bit. So we'll see how that manifests. But basically, it just goes right through, gives him a big gash on the forehead. We'll see how it all happens at the end as to whether he's dead or not. But odds are looking in your favor. And then that's going to be 3. And that's going to be 1 for me. And would you please take 1 more strain, Trista? Okay. As once again, defying all odds, picking up the bloodied pistol in his other hand, he shoots back at you. It's just a graze. It's a little graze on the shoulder. It looks cool more than anything else. It makes it tense and exciting. Probably helps your performance. 2, 1, and we're done. Okay. At this point, Ben, you believe that the sniper is going to intervene. So do you want to act at this point?
If I can. All right.
Absolutely, you can.
Brilliant, because this wasn't going to happen. I'm going to, I imagine I'm going to have to exert myself. I don't know if it necessarily is going to call for a roll, let me know. But basically, the moment that I can see the glint of the barrel as he's shifting position, tensing, ready to to fire.
Mhm.
I reach across from my position near the balcony and then clasp my hands, drag him across the intervening street, down onto the balcony itself, skidding across the ballroom, sniper rifle falling out of his hands, and then he's shortly followed by that stupid wide-brimmed hat that he has wearing on his head. Just let you know. That way you know he's the sniper.
That is amazing. I love that so much. Now, is there a role involved, or does that just happen?
If it's for telekinetic purposes, I suspect it's just an exert, but I'm happy to also spend a drama point or something if you want to further supplement this.
No. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. If you exert, then that's the price. That's the cost. That absolutely happens. One thing I will add is that it all works out exactly perfectly as he smashes him through the window, flies through the air, basically just before the sniper rifle comes out of his hand. All of a sudden, from like the other side of the hall, like from like close to the front door, a las pistol shot goes right through his head. A perfect between the eyes shot, and when he hits the ground dead, he is in fact dead. Turning around, of course, you can see Valene Vicente just kind of like, and then just carry on. He wasn't involved, so that's all fair game for her. So, with your second rolls, Zhao and Trista, we're ready to count down. So 10.
That's a 10.
Oh, please. Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed an important step. This is entirely my fault. I'm so sorry. So, at the end of a round, when you are dealing with real people with real strain, you actually have a final thing that you do, which is called the break. And this is when you make a resolve roll using your character's most relevant motivation die. So whatever probably just your highest motivation die, to see whether you can keep fighting. Because if you roll less than the strain that you have accumulated so far, then you are in fact out of the fight. So I think Trista is the only one that's taken any strain. Is that right?
No,
Zhao, you haven't taken. Okay, great. Well, if both of you would be kind enough to roll that dice, and I mean, if you have only one strain, then
it is
don't worry.
actually it is greater than or equal to.
Oh, is it equal to? Oh,
yeah,
I'm
if
so
you
sorry.
roll a 1 on one strain, you can get taken out.
No, that's my apology. So yeah, don't roll a 1.
Okay.
Just because I
didn't roll a 1.
Good. Very good. Very
Same
good.
here. Roll a 5.
Okay.
I got the same.
Okay. Then you are just fine. But oh dear, Mr. McDurp is not so fortunate. So we will narratively say that that final shot that you made does in fact go right through his eyes. And so in this round, it's fair game for you to jump in and also attack Zhao's opponent, or you can leave it to her, up to you entirely. So
would I be able to spend a drama point to have, as that sniper is flying through and they're catching a blast to the face from my hopefully my soon-to-be date. Would I be able to spend a drama point to have their gun discharge and shoot the melee fighter, preferably in his unmentionables?
Wow. Okay. Yes. So
Excellent.
if you spend a drama point, if you spend a drama point and it's just the one strain, then absolutely no roll required. The drama point expenditure will happen. So he just doubles over and like, and then that's going to be, where were we? So 10.
Oh, I have a 10.
Oh, great. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Now, are you going to be attacking the other fellow then, the person who started all this?
So knowing that my original opponent is done, I will roll these all as stunts. And so this 10 will be a stunt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the fallen McNimby and by the ankle and kind of just do a big circle and then like toss the body at the legs of McDurp to tangle and trip him up.
That's amazing. And like this spray of blood, like just like, you know, those in the first 2 rows will get wet. And of course, the Witch Queen is just like, oh yes, good. Yep. just loving it. Okay, and so that happens. And yeah, so that is going to be +2 for Sam. So you can add that to any dice that you choose. So with that in mind, if you're using it for a strike or a stunt, Sam, 9.
Yeah.
Great, do it.
Okay. Okay. So I rolled a 9 on a parry and a strike.
Oh, well, you would just keep that parry, but it's the strike that matters. So you'll be dealing him some extra strain. So just describe how you land a good hit on him.
Man, I gotta think about this now. So
he's been
the
doubled
body
over and barreled over, right?
Indeed. Yeah.
So it's just this kind of, oh no, you don't. And so as he doubles over, as he falls, she whacks him so that he's back up again.
That's amazing.
Now wake up, get up.
Smack. All right, cool. 8, 7. I have a 7. Somehow, despite all this discomfort and pain, he still manages to slash you across the upper arm, Zhao. So it's just a backhand that you barely care about because he's so weakened. But it cuts in annoyingly, so you do take 1 strain. Unless
she wants to blow that parry die, right?
I do. Yes.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, my fault. I'm so sorry. Forget all that. He tries to do that and completely fails.
He tries. And so what happens is that Zhao swings back with the hammer in a kind of spiral, like twirling backwards as she collects it with the hammer as it passes behind her.
Yeah, that's sick.
And then I can probably go into my strike.
Yes, do it. Please do, yeah.
So twirl, collect it so that his sword goes offline, and then immediately, as I make this full circle, smack into his side.
Nice, that's awesome. And yeah, that beats any of his parries. So yeah, 100% you smack. He's getting knocked back. He's got a body thrown into him. He's got
I'm putting flourishes in this. I'm here to impress.
Accidentally shot in the junk, and then it's all happening for him. He's having a real bad day. So couldn't happen to a nicer fella. So that happens. So 4, 3.
Oh, actually.
2. Sorry. Yeah, I got.
No.
There was a 5 in there.
Oh, okay, great. And that's going to be another stunt to Sam. Is that right?
Right. What am I going to do? This guy is pretty sad. I'm just going to go beside him, like bend over him and just be like,
That's amazing. Great stuff. That's great. 2.
Oh, sorry, I had a 4.
Oh, right. Sorry, pardon me. 4.
It was another strike dice.
Oh, this fellow. Yep. So yeah, that completely. Yep, that hit. So you smack him again while he's being jeered at.
I could probably take his legs out from under him.
Great. That's amazing. All right, splendid. So he just falls over. He just gets completely clotheslined by your gigantic hammer. That's a cool weapon. All right then. So 2, 1.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the 1?
I'm just going to hold him up by his shoulders so that she could just rail.
Great. I'm happy to call it that one there. I think you've definitely won. I don't think, but we'll call that a victory for you. This poor fellow, I think, is we'll just narratively declare that this one is completely done. So, Sam, how do you finish him off?
I do a big downward swing toward his head, but I stop about this far away.
Mm-hmm.
There's this big whack.
Everyone's like,
so switch from the head to the butt, right in the stomach.
Nice. All right then.
Oh,
and
actually,
now,
right in the middle of the rib cage.
Okay, and you just put it right through him, because don't forget the Witch Queen wants gore.
No, that's true. That's true.
You don't have to. That's you've just
chin.
been advised
The
that that's the
chin.
preference.
No.
Nice.
The butt of the hammer into the chin.
Oof. Okay.
Upward.
Great. Yep. You turn him into a gruesome Pez dispenser. So that's
And all the
great.
Pez just splashes up over me.
Just everywhere.
We're both covered.
In an unprecedented level of response, something that, judging by the reaction of the crowd, is literally unheard of. The Witch Queen sits up completely and applauds.
While that's happening, and I'm happy to spend a drama point if need be to be completely unfazed by that occurrence, as I elbow Arlo and point at the
Yep.
Now's your moment.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm just waiting for Tom to wrap description. But yeah, I'm looking over to check her, and it's like,
Oh, that's it. All you do
in
it.
the nod. All right. So the Daughters of the Mask.
Yes.
I imagine that they are pretty stunned by the notion that their queen has showed signs of life. And
Oh
interest.
yes. Yeah.
And
They
so
are they are no longer really looking very hard at their ward.
fantastic. All right. And so as I can see this water serpent-like mask turning towards their towering monarch, I'm going to sidle on up to the discarded display of treasures, and then shall deftly take the lantern that Ocheka indicated earlier and hide it upon my person.
Okay. Give me a roll, please.
All right. So this is going
Just
to be
so you're aware, I am adjusting the difficulty dramatically to reflect
Very good.
the amazing setup that your friends have given you.
brilliant. All right. So I am going to be taking for self, because this is a very selfish action. Not advantageous, but there you go. I will take with cunning, because I'm choosing my moment carefully. And I'm going to tap my origin, Streets of Zodiac. This is not my first rodeo when it comes to stealing things of importance. And I'm just trying to think if there's something else that I can throw in on this. Violet, what's... Oh, sorry, you go.
I was going to say, if it would be, I would like to lend an aid with cunning, so that at the very moment of that sort of motion of that exchange, I would like to basically just do my best, gladiate, like, are you not entertained?
I was actually gonna. I wanted to let Arlo do his thing, but I was actually like, as soon as it ended, I was going to also NC and go right into my tale, since I now have an entire audience.
Perfect.
And tie that in with the story that I was going to tell, where it ties in two characters from both Zodiac and from here, where it's similar to like Saint Olga style, where one somebody's lover is killed, and she takes revenge by essentially setting everyone's house on fire, and then murdering like the most of the other army through clever, coy things that she comes up with. So yeah, so I'm going to tie that all in and unknowingly distract, I should say, because I don't know that he's doing this.
But regardless, it's definitely going to be doing that for sure.
Yes.
Cool, because that allows me to also tap into Violet as a trait using her storytelling abilities and Ocheka's natural grandstanding. All right, so what am I getting from you, Travis, by way of a dice?
With cunning, so it'd be a D10.
Awesome, thank you kindly. And let's see if this one's feeling especially lucky. All right, and with that, we make a roll. That'll play. All right, I'm spending a drama point so that I can add a third dice to the total. That is going to be 21.
Wow. Yeah, you have this. You have this and two other mysterious things, because why not?
Awesome. And I'm going to exhaust my my cunning one more time so that I can play Hidden Pockets. This allows me to make an object disappear. You may conceal, in this case, let's hide the lantern. That'll be the one that we're playing most focus on. No inspection. The scene will detect it. Oh, my person, that is.
That is absolutely amazing. I love that so much. Okay, that is awesome. And yeah, so you definitely have that. I mean, the crowd goes absolutely bananas. There is a raucous cacophony that echoes through the walls, and I mean, people surge forward. They want to touch you. They want to be there to make sure that you're real. You're just so cool. And so the Witch Queen stands up completely to her full, 20 feet of height, and walks down to you, specifically to Zhao and Trista, and says, "It has been many aeons since I have encountered warrior maidens of a similar nature to mine in my chambers within the hour."
I kind of side-eye the elderly woman with the Clint Eastwood physique.
Yep. So she looks to you, she's like, "Some other night."
Don't worry, I'll handle your light work. And I
But yeah, Trista, you can see that there's a look that passes across her face. It's like, not now. but she.
Oh no, I was meaning like the queen is like, "I've never seen such warriors," and I'm like, but like she was here the whole time.
Exactly. But she gives you an acknowledging nod. Game recognized game. So basically, that's it. The crowd soon disperses and mostly goes to talk amongst themselves about the fact that you've just been invited to the Witch Queen's chambers, which, judging by in particular, the reaction that Meridi gives, which is actually, Violet, to come over to you and to sort of like tensely clasp your hand and just like looks to you very earnestly. Meridi says, "This is, may I please speak with you when you have a moment? Talk to your companions, but then come to see me before I arrange this rather unusual audience." Yes. And she just turns and goes to walk away, unless you have something to say to Zer before.
No. So Violet will just like put her hand over Zer and like just grab like firm, like a firm squeeze of acknowledgement.
Great. Yeah, there's just a tense look and then a nod, another little squeeze, and gone. So there you are.
Before we move away from this, first I'm gonna just kind of shimmy out of my Hawaiian silk shirt that's covered in rather messy, and then use it to wipe myself off. And I'm going to use a drama point for just a scratch. So I'm going to knock down one of my strain.
Great.
And so once I've kind of cleaned myself off, I'm going to go to McDurp and run my fingers over his eyes and close them, and then just lay the Hawaiian shirt over his face. And be like, "You died for a shirt." And then I'm going to yank the coin purse off of his belt.
Yep.
I'll go to the dwarf and yank the coin purse off of his belt as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take both coin purses and hand it to that woman that just was like, don't die.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So she, so basically, she just kind of looks up and like takes the coin purses and says, "Yeah, right, man." And then
yeah, just some like and my condolences.
She says, yes. It's all very sad. Anyway, and just leaves. Just wanders off. So everyone gets a drama point. Trista gets 2 for that one. That's amazing. Okay, so what do you do?
And then we go to the Queen's Chamber, I think.
Yeah, I mean, nothing you wanted to say before you go off? Obviously, Violet will probably want to check in with Meridi as requested, but yeah, anything you wanted to to talk about amongst yourselves?
I am going to kind of give them some pointers as to how to interact with the Queen in a respectful manner while still maintaining their warrior status.
That's amazing. Okay, great.
It goes completely over Zhao's head.
Like, what?
So I don't do this. I don't look her in the eye, and
oh, you have earned the right to look her in the eye.
Okay.
She came up to you. She approached you. You did not approach her.
Right. Okay.
So you have earned that.
Okay.
I'm not even going to make you clean the blood off. She will like that.
God, bene.
I'll just say a quick good work as I go to rendezvous with Clint Eastwood.
Great. Yep. So you wander over. Say,
Oh yeah.
well, your friends are very entertaining. I must say they did not disappoint. I have a feeling I will see that Trista again sometime.
Oh, most likely, yes. I'm hopefully in the morning.
Yes. Wink. So she definitely offers to take you away to her alcove, to her residence.
Excellent.
To engage in some vigorous relaxation.
I assume everybody else can. You guys got this. Bye.
That's fine. You're fine. So that's how you close out. So in that case, then I must ask: does Violet approach Meridi to have a chat beforehand?
Absolutely.
Great. Meridi looks to you earnestly and says, "I must tell you something very important." And this is, I should mention, by the way, both of these things are occurring because you have reached a significant bond level with both of the main NPCs here, such that this kind of triggers, if that makes sense. You are in a rare position. The Witch Queen had a ulterior motive for hosting this. I arranged this as a distraction, for she once again feels the call. And she, Ji looks around and seems to be really contemplating whether this is to be shared with you. But then resolutely, Meridi nods and says, "It is true what they say. She crash landed here in a sarcophagus. She was bound there. It was not intended that she should ever be freed. However, when the ship crashed, she was released, but she is bound to the sarcophagus. It is why she cannot leave and start a campaign of war against the entirety of Mars to bring it under her heel. However, like many curses, there is a way to break this one. And this one is painfully simple, dangerous in how straightforward it is. Someone simply needs to ask her, unprompted and unguided by her, without coercion, without the tugging of heartstrings, simply genuinely want her to come with them and leave. That person then will be bound to the sarcophagus. Some fine print that is not often mentioned. This cannot be allowed to happen for obvious reasons, many reasons. First of all, as much as I love my Witch Queen and desire her company and approval, she cannot be set free. She will wreak such havoc upon this planet that you would have no way to counter it. And this glorious citadel in her absence would fall to ruin. literally. I believe that your companions are to be invited to her chamber for a proposal. She is going to try to charm them, convince them without convincing them, so to speak. This will be done by taking them to the inner temple. It has to be. If this happens, they cannot go. And the problem is that if she fails to convince them, she will move on to someone else. I believe that her heart is set on this festival. I would ask that your companions assist me and do the unthinkable. Distract her, pleasure her. She will want to engage with them sexually, I believe, which would put them in an unusually advantageous position. She will be almost unprecedentedly vulnerable. When she slumbers, and she pulls forth a small silver bell. Ring this, one of them, either of them, next to her ear while she sleeps, and she will stay asleep for several days past the festival, and any attempts that she will have to woo somebody else to release her will be done. Hopefully by then she'll be distracted and another attempt will be avoided for now. It is no small thing that I ask you to ask your friends, but I still do. Will you accept?
For the safety of Mars and all that dwell upon this beautiful planet, yes.
Z smiles very, very broadly. They're just, stoic as Z normally is. It's all washed away. There's just an absolute flood of relief, and she grabs your hands, basically. And assuming you consent, we'll attempt to give you a big old classical smooch.
Yes. Violet consents.
Splendid.
And she will try to position so that they have a little bit of privacy if needed.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
To be very clear, this is all taking place not completely in a secret alcove, but we'll just say like off in an alcove, off in a hallway. So, considering the revelation that's been given, that very much be the case. So with that then, you depart, and Meridy says, and of course, while they're entertained, and she describes where her chamber lies and says, if you have nothing else to do this evening, and then turns and walks away. Do you approach your companions?
Yes, I go immediately to them.
Great. So Zhao and Trista, are you just doing shots at the bar? Are you just chest bumping? What's happening? Or are you somber?
I am just doing my best to people keep coming up to me to be like, oh, hey, you did the fight. And I don't. So I'm just yeah, that was me. And her. Bye. Just redirecting and circling around people and just if there's a curtain, I'm hiding behind it.
Great. I love it. Yeah. Splendid. All right, then. So Violet approaches.
Yes. I'm going to round up Zhao and Trista and take them somewhere private.
Mm-hmm. Ocheka and Arlo can come too. I imagine as a group, this may be something you want to. Yeah. So we'll say all of you abscond to a quiet hallway.
Is this before or after Ocheka is otherwise departed, or are we interrupting?
Yeah, I'm.
You're gone. No, sorry.
Interrupts me.
Ocheka is busy right now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that was straight away. I mean, who would wait? Come on, that's fine.
Exactly.
So you're off. Yeah. Sorry. The rest of you, please continue.
So I have been asked to perform a great favor, and because of your performance, you would have to be the one to carry out this task. So,
Violet, who do we have to kill?
Nobody.
Oh no,
So,
it's the other thing, isn't it?
Only if you agree, and there is no pressure, because if anything, I can swing in other ways and figure this out. So the festival is a little bit of a ruse. So the Witch Queen is not able to leave this because she's tied to this. This is a sarcophagus that she landed in here.
Okay.
And if she were to ever be released from it, she would cause war and destruction throughout the entire planet. That is her drive. And the only way to break the curse is to just ask her to leave with you.
Huh.
So Meridi believes that the Witch Queen is planning on asking you to do this for her and asking her to leave with you.
So don't invite the queen for drinks.
Yes.
Got it.
Right.
Well, so here's the thing, is that Meridi has a way to get her to sleep
Okay.
for several days, because if she fails with you, she will ask somebody else. And Meridi has asked if you would be willing to entertain her in that way.
You want me to juggle? I am a soldier. That's what I do. What entertainment are you expecting?
The kind that I like to do sometimes.
The like ooh 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 kind.
Yes. So, and like I said, if this is not something you are comfortable with, it is not anything that I am going to force upon you or anything like that. Please tell me, and I can figure it out from there. I can do what I do best. But if you are able to distract her enough where she sleeps on her own, and I'll hold up the silver bell. If you ring this in her ear, she will sleep for several days and will not be able to wake up at all, and will sleep past this festival and this calling for her to leave.
So you are hoping that Zhao and I perform very vigorous romances on She-Hulk.
Save the world by
It's not
fucking.
even. It's not even
Yes.
She-Hulk.
It's death by snoo snoo. Like,
I mean, Zhao, is this something you can do?
No, it's not my wheelhouse. And besides, what would be the? She like kind of looks up and makes this big wide.
which is why I
how I do, what would be the logistics of this sort of thing?
We'll leave
Size-
those obscure.
yeah, those are kind of.
That's what.
I mean, I could give you some pointers if you would like.
No, it's fine.
No, I think I understand. She likes warriors, so we'll toss her around a little bit.
I mean,
Yeah.
and just don't ask her to leave for all of the love of Mars. Don't
Right.
ask her to leave.
Okay, we'll just
I want to
Toss
say
her-
it so bad. I don't know that it's appropriate. Okay. I'm just thinking the exact opposite of that. And all right.
I mean, I could give Zhao like a squirt bottle every time you start thinking about it. She could just squirt you.
spray myself in the face.
It was amazing. Okay, everyone gets infinity drama points. And so obviously we will, assuming you go ahead with this credible but also sexy plan, we will fade to black if it goes through. But and obviously your characters, so Trista and Zhao, you are consensually on board with this plan to save the world by fucking.
Yeah.
In a torrid romance novel, what better way is there to
It's true.
to save the day, right? So
Sounds like a tag team WWE wrestling tournament.
Anywhere.
Yeah, whole new meaning to TLC.
This could not have turned out better. Thank you.
Just caught up on the bedposts.
So what I love about this whole series, because obviously we're over time, and I do apologize for that. I just we will round out. We will round out this session with a tasteful montage, because of course
now.
everyone. What I love though is that, like, yes, obviously to shorthand this, it works. You know, you go through and your prodigious skills exhaust her temporarily so that she goes to sleep. The bell works. It's all above board. It's all an actual thing. The slumber, the magical slumber that comes upon her when the bell is rung is significant, that you can steal away and enjoy the rest of the festival. Like, it's fine. You don't need to stop partying. And obviously, Ocheka is likewise engaged. So poor Arlo is just sort of sat there holding the ghost, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. Poor Arlo got like the riches, the legendary. Yeah.
And listen, there's still plenty of time left in the evening. Arlo can definitely have secured his own action. So
Exactly.
what we'll do here is we'll round out with a little montage of even the next couple of days and such. So any little narrative scene, any little part of the montage that you want to say, just to kind of close things out for your character. And we'll start with poor Arlo, as he was left out of this.
I don't think Arlo actually gets told this at all. Like from the moment that Violet brings it to the group, to the night in question, to the following morning, subsequent days, where it turns out that the Queen isn't attending court. So Arlo, I think, is just completely like in the dark about how close Mars came to falling between, in front of the path of a Venusian queen, were it not for one night's dalliance. So in a sense, I suppose he played the group, but in another, probably more accurate sense, he got played as well.
That's great. I love it. And like, I just imagine like the next day, Arlo going up to Zhao and Trista and being like, "So how was your night?" "Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Zhao is just vacantly staring.
Arlo is absolutely going to be reveling in the notion. Yeah, a lot of money made, and if anybody asks, it's like, "Oh yeah, wagered an outcome of the duel." But yeah, made some money. I think I did all right. You know, I don't want to brag about it.
You're fine. Ocheka.
I mean, aside from entertaining Madam Eastwood, I think probably the remainder of the festival for Ocheka is going to be spent whining, dining, wheeling, dealing, and doing my best to get my hands on those fungal spores that I came here for.
You do, yeah.
So that's really a lot of backroom deals. Perhaps a discussion with a bounty hunter where I forbid disintegrations. Other than that, yeah, everything's it's pretty much just hanging out, having fun.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that a lot. We'll say maybe even Namada, being a Wyeth woman who is incredibly skilled in both, obviously, biological knowledge and such. Maybe you could even hook up a merchant distribution thing with her, just to bring that full circle. Zhao.
Oh, she gets over the she gets over the morning very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, same with Ocheka, spending the rest of the festival, whining, dining, many rounds for people in many bars. That sort of, big boisterous revelry.
That's great. Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome.
Yep.
keeping it, but that's Xiao. And Violet.
So Violet would continue to spend time with Meridi as much as they have available, and continuing on with the relationship, whether it becomes romantic or if it's more just for political. Either one works for Violet. And so just continue to nurture that and to make connections in this court, in this area of Mars, and hopefully to open up more trade routes between Zodiac, and like try to start building up relationships for that.
That's amazing. And yeah, so honestly, Meridi would be on board with whatever. To say that your relationship is maxed out, so to speak, in BioWare terms. That's fantastic. And Trista.
So the morning after, while I'm making breakfast for Ocheka and Lady Eastwood, as I slam the plates down on the table, I'm like, I hope you really enjoy this, because this is being served to you by someone who has saved all of Mars from terrible war and destruction. And then I proceed to, for the next week, like every time Ocheka asks me for anything, I just want you to know I saved this planet.
And
I saved civilization as we know it. I saved them.
And Ocheka, despite being deeply at his core very proud of Trista's work, is going to act as though it is of course you did. That is what I pay you for.
I do want to add in that Violet would do something for Trista and Zhao, whether it's get them absolutely hammered or, buy their meals for the next month or whatever the case may be, whatever, as just like a thank you. If they don't want anything, that's fine. But otherwise she will try to get whatever they would like as I owe you.
I suppose
Violet,
there'll be a couple extra chits in your paycheck this week too.
Violet, can you please go and shop for some new clothes that don't have all of the guts on them?
Yes, please.
I don't like to shop, so yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, totally. And I will make it functional too.
Excellent.
It'll have pockets.
Okay, that is amazing. So with that, then we cut to the credits of this glorious space opera. And I want to thank each and every one of you for making this one of the funniest sessions I've ever played in my life. This was really great.
My face hurts from laughing. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You did an amazing job. Thank you so much. I'm sorry we ran a little late. I just got engrossed and didn't check the time, but there you are. Glad we got to end properly.
Thank you so much. And thank all of you for being here. If just real quick, if anybody has anything that they would like to promote, I know. Let's kick it off with Alexis. If you have anything you'd like to share with the audience at home, any final words?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram at Secluded Moment, and I do post some notifications there for some Twitch streams that I do, some roleplay streams as well. Yeah.
All right, rock and roll. Crystal, anything you want to share with the class?
Yeah, so you can find me at thegeekypanda.com. You can also find me with Darker Days Radio, where we are doing a series on all of the splats for Chronicles of Darkness. So we're going to be talking about those. The last one we did was the base book for Chronicles of Darkness, and that's out on our YouTube and podcasts and Twitch channels, I believe.
Excellent. Ben, anything you'd like to share?
Only that if you want to hear more of myself, or indeed Sam or Tom, you can find us on the Shared Sagas podcast, which Tom will reveal, I'm sure, when it comes to his turn.
Excellent. Sam, anything you'd like to share with the class?
Very much the same. Yeah, if you'd like to check us out, Shared Sagas. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Minty Fiend. I don't really post that much there. It's just kind of a thing of everything. But yeah, look, come check out Shared Sagas.
Excellent. And Tom, our glorious game master, anything you'd like to share with the folks at home?
No, so Ben and Sam stole my plug, so that's fine. But no, yeah,
You got to
that's
tell
it.
them where to find it, though.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So Shared Sagas at Podbean, on Podbean. Where is it? Damn it. Be better at this. If you Google Shared Sagas, we are on your podcatcher of choice. Yeah, we have a fun time. We're just about to start our season 3 campaign, which will be a playthrough of Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. And we've been having a good time recording that one.
Beautiful. Yeah, definitely
Nice.
check that out and shoot them a subscription. And I guess, yeah, I want to make sure to remind you all that Cavaliers of Mars is currently 90% off at DriveThruRPG, 50% off, I do believe, over at Indie Press Revolution. I also want to remind you all that they came from the Cyclops' Cave and Classified as the current Kickstarter. The main book has been funded, and we have unlocked action heroes, so you can get a little bit of get into the chop, get your ass to Mars action. See, it all comes back to Mars. So head over to Kickstarter and check that out. I want to remind everyone to, if you're capable, get vaccinated, wash your hands, wear your masks, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you again real soon. One final thank you so much to the people I'm sharing the screen with, because I really appreciate you all being here tonight, and this was really a grand time. Thank you.